with Iran's foreign minister.
We do need the support, I think, of our allies, the European allies and others.
This is Fox News, fair and balanced.
In Chicago, we have heavy, dense fog this morning, 66 degrees at 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott, and those foggy conditions, especially in parts of Lake and McHenry counties, has resulted in a dense fog advisory until 9 a.m. for many parts of the Chicagoland area. Chicago area Congressman Luis Gutierrez, part of a group rallying outside Trump Tower in New York. Chicago Democrat took part in that rally yesterday to protest the president's decision to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, and he was hustled off by New York police. 5 Wheaton College football players accused of violently hazing a teammate last year are now suspended from the team. Suspects have been charged with aggravated battery, mob action, and unlawful restraint. At least 2 of the players have turned themselves in before prosecutors begin their case. The FBI says a fugitive ex-Chicago police sergeant has been on the run for nearly 15 years. He's now in custody in Detroit. Eddie Hicks agreed to extradition to Illinois during an appearance before a magistrate, Judge Stephen Whalen, yesterday. Hicks was wanted for allegedly posing as a federal agent with several other men and extorting drug dealers for cash and drugs. He had retired from the Chicago Police Department in 2000 while under federal investigation. Governor Rauner approving a bill that will change the rules for when police can seize the assets of suspected criminals. AM 560's David Stewart has details.
Currently, the government can seize cash or property that's believed to have been used in committing a crime, and it's up to the owner to prove their innocence to get it back. Governor Rauner says his signature will change that.
This bill puts the requirement on law enforcement to have proof, reasonable preponderance of the evidence that some asset was used in criminal behavior.
The new law also requires the state police to set up a database listing all property that's been seized under the asset forfeiture laws. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
1 man is dead after jumping onto the CTA Blue Line tracks on Chicago's near west side. The incident happened last night at the Western Station in the 400 block of Southwestern Avenue. Federal prosecutors have outlined the scope of the tax and fraud case against former powerhouse Chicago Alderman Eddie Verdoliak. New court filing in the years-long case. Prosecutors say Verdoliak and his co-defendant, Daniel Soso, received more than $10 million in secret unearned fees from Illinois' mammoth $9 billion tobacco settlement in the 1990s. Then they may have hid that money from the IRS. Walgreens and Rite Aid announcing they finally reached a merger deal that satisfies federal regulators in the purchase agreement. The arrangement announced yesterday, Walgreens will pay about $4.4 billion for 1,932 Rite Aid stores, far fewer than the Deerfield Pharmacy's initial plan to take over nearly 2,200 Rite Aid stores. It looks now like the office of Illinois Attorney General will not pass from one Democratic dynasty to another. Alderman Ed Burke says that although his daughter Sarah considered running to replace Lisa Madigan, she has decided against it, citing family considerations. Meantime, State Representative Scott Drury has announced that he is dropping plans to run for governor and instead will join what could be a huge Democrat field in the race for Illinois Attorney General. Illinois recording its first death this year from West Nile virus. State's health department says the patient was a Kankakee resident. This year, 37 cases of West Nile. Last year, 155. Former Bears and Carolina Panthers cornerback Charles Peanut Tillman has a new career path. Sources say Tillman is training to become an FBI agent. 36-year-old who has a degree in criminal justice, retired after 13 NFL seasons last year, but he must complete academy training before turning 37. Cubs ran their winning streak to 7 games with a 2-1 victory over the Rays at Tropicana Field. White Sox suffer a 3-1 loss to the Astros in the opener of a 3-game set in Houston. Blackhawks open preseason play with a 5-2 win over the Blue Jackets in Columbus. Former head coach Doug Collins returning to the Bulls as a senior advisor. Collins has most recently served as an analyst for ESPN. The news, a service of Sheboygan, Wisconsin Tourism. In Sheboygan, Wisconsin, there really is no traffic, and the weather is always perfect for something like biking, surfing, art museums, culinary experiences, and fun. All just a couple of hours' drive away. Get out of town. Information at visitsheboygan.com. 5:07. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
See filmmaker and the best-selling author of Hillary's America, Dinesh D'Souza, on Saturday, November 11th at Freedom Summit 2017 at the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca. He'll be appearing with Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Also appearing, radio talk show host Larry Elder, Joe Walsh, Dan Proft, and Amy Jacobson. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group.
In business, risks and rewards come with every decision, like moving to the cloud with Office 365. While its benefits include anywhere access and lower costs, cyber threats and user errors can quickly wipe out data and the money you save. Barracuda Essentials for Office 365 provide an added layer of security and functionality for threat protection, email migration, data recovery, and quality of service. Move securely to Office 365. Visit barracuda.com/essentials to learn more.
Whether you like it or not, winter is right around the corner. As the leaves start to turn, you may be wondering if the vehicle you depend on every day to take the kids to school, run errands, and get to work is prepared to handle another Chicagoland winter. Don't worry, Joe Cotton Ford has you covered during their Ford SUV sales event. Now through September 30th, you'll save thousands when you select from hundreds of in-stock new Ford SUVs and crossovers. As one of the highest repeat customer dealerships in Chicagoland, the team at Joe Cotton Ford has been working with generations of Ford buyers and their families. They'll offer you a different car buying experience. In fact, your satisfaction is their top priority. And remember, Joe Cotton Ford is open in both sales and service. They service all vehicles, even on Saturday. It's easy. Schedule your service appointment now at joecottonford.com. Get to Joe Cotton Ford today and drive home your new Ford car, truck, or SUV. Gary and North Avenue and Carroll Stream, or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
Are you satisfied that your business is being seen effectively online? Call 866-SEEN-360. That's 866-SEEN-360 and discover how you can capture a larger share of traffic, leads, and sales from your online advertising. Call 866-SEEN-360 for a proven system to market your business online that includes unique reporting that tracks and confirms that you're being seen. Call today and talk to a digital expert who can provide your business with a comprehensive strategy. That's 866-SEEN-360.
5:09. Let's get a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center this morning. Jim Talamonte just got a note from our friends at the National Weather Service. In Bartlett this morning, 0.0 visibility.
Wow. Yeah.
That's really hyper local, I know, but I got to tell you, I don't see that too often. Quarter Mile in Waukegan and Lansing, the fog this morning, nothing to mess around with.
That's right, Mike. It's really dense, and this is affecting air travel. Right now, Midway is much more affected than O'Hare. The flight boards at Midway show about 20 cancellations, maybe a few more over the next 2 or 3 hours, including arrivals and departures. Most flights at O'Hare right now are moving as scheduled. We're going to keep an eye on that because that may change, especially if this doesn't lift a little bit here. On the expressways and tollways, it's mostly quiet. You have delays on the inbound Eisenhower from Manheim to 17th. 33 minutes is the travel time, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound, it's fine. Most of the overnight road work is gone. There's still some on the outbound ride from 87th to the Split in the 3 right lanes. And on the southbound tri-state from the Hinsdale Oasis to the 82nd Street toll, 2 left lanes are affected. There was a situation on the Adams Tollway, westbound I-90 west of 31 with a baby deer on the side of the roadway, but Illinois State Police have been able to kind of nudge that deer away from danger, and so all lanes are open now. Traffic is a service of Cici's. Want to taste the soft and tossed flavors of Cici's wings on your pizza? Now you can. New wing-inspired pizzas, honey barbecue, garlic parmesan, and buffalo chicken. Now on Cici's buffet for just $5 and change. Prices may vary at participating locations for a limited time. traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. The latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Patchy morning fog, otherwise clouds and sun today, high 89. Then a partly cloudy night, humid with a low 70. Tomorrow, warm and humid with sun and patchy clouds, high 89. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tomorrow night, low 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
64 at O'Hare, 66 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit BeingSeen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. BeingSeen360.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Favorite headline in reaction to Trump's speech before the UN General Assembly yesterday comes to us from Rich Lowry at National Review, who was just kind of repurposing what someone said on Twitter. Holy Shiite, Trump at the UN. Pretty good.
That's a good one.
Never been the tweet.
I don't think that could be topped. But
never before has been there's so much murmuring of holy sh in so many different languages. Trump laying down the hammer in no uncertain terms, particularly with respect to Rocket Man. But I got to tell you, that was anticipated.
Taking one of his Twitter phases and bringing it to the UN. Because, I mean, we were first introduced to the new, nickname for Kim Jong-un in one of his tweets. And I personally didn't think he was going to take it to the UN.
My favorite part, though,
yeah,
was sort of an unanticipated part of it, particularly with its philosophical jujitsu that Trump did, or his speechwriters did, and he read it. And that's on socialism. Particular to that audience. I mean, it's a global audience, but to all of these, champagne socialists
from around the world
and soft dictators.
Yeah.
Trump, speaking specifically of Venezuela, saying this:
wherever true socialism or communism has been adopted, it has delivered anguish and devastation and failure. Those who preach the tenets of these discredited ideologies only contribute to the continued suffering of the people who live under these cruel systems. America stands with every person living under a brutal regime. Our respect for sovereignty is also a call for action. All people deserve a government that cares for their safety, their interests, and their well-being, including their prosperity.
Yeah, so the idea is that the devastation caused by socialism in places like Venezuela, that's not a bug, that's the feature. That's socialism working, not socialism not working. And that was, I just thought, a great moment and a great message for the world to hear in an era where we have socialism on the rise in the West, such that people are comfortable running for office in the United States effectively as socialists. People are comfortable holding office as socialists. That was my favorite moment.
Mine, of course, was Rocket Man. Because when he was talking about Rocket Man on this, because he's on a suicide mission, you see General Kelly placing his face into the palm of his hand when President Trump said it.
The United States has great strength and patience. But if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime. The United States is ready, willing, and able, but hopefully this will not be necessary. That's what the United Nations is all about. That's what the United Nations is for. Let's see how they do.
I mean, is he antagonizing a rogue regime? Is he trying to start something? Is he the one now?
Has something been started?
By threatening, by making, no, don't look at me like that. I'm saying by threatening, if we don't stop Rocket Man, there's going to be serious consequences. Is that?
That's appropriate.
Okay.
Do you want a nuclear North Korea?
No, I don't.
Should we let North Korea say, whatever North Korea wants to do, and
But can
threatening
we-
other countries, firing missiles over Japan, saber rattling with respect to South Korea, an ally of ours?
I mean, how can we denuclearize North Korea without starting a war?
By drawing a line and making sure they know that we're going to man it.
Did President Trump draw that line yesterday?
I thought it was pretty clear when he said, effectively, we'll destroy you. By the way, that's not dissimilar to anything Nikki Haley has said and others. So the prospects that if North Korea would continue their nuclear program and continue to threaten United States territories or allies with nuclear annihilation, then that's the end of North Korea. That's what we used to call back in the height of the Cold War and the Reagan years, MAD, mutually assured destruction. And North Korea is on notice. Because even rogue regimes are not necessarily irrational regimes. They're interested in their self-survival. They're interested in advancing their self-interest. So I think bright lines are important. Ed in Oak Brook, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I didn't listen to the whole speech, just the highlights that's being bandied about on media. But the one thing that I wanted him to say, and he alluded to it, is the bureaucracy of the United Nations, which I think is just a wasteful organization. And he should have went one step. Don't worry about North Korea or any of that stuff, so nothing's going to happen. But what he should have said is, you know what, we're going to cut our funding considerably to this corrupt organization called the United Nations. And that would have got a real a heartfelt welcome out of me, because they're living so high off the hog, those people, and we're out here struggling, supporting them. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Ed. Well, it's a couple things. One, the day before, on Monday, when he welcomed people to New York and had a few remarks sitting next to the Secretary General, he did talk about the reforms that are allegedly being initiated inside the UN, and he did talk about the need for a bureaucratic reset, if you will, while praising the Secretary General for being the initiator of these reforms. I mean, playing some diplomacy. So he did say that. And, frankly, what you just heard him say in North Korea, this is what the UN is for. Let's see how the UN does. It's a pretty direct challenge to the UN as a serious body that has any teeth and thus any relevance. That's the question. And that's essentially the question he's putting to all the member countries. Of course, several of whom, the leadership of those countries, the president or the dictator, the communist secretary, were not there because they didn't want to be embarrassed by being lectured by Trump about their own country.
Did anybody walk out? I didn't see anyone.
It wasn't walking out. It was
right. What sometimes
not
when
attending.
people they get up and make a big show of it and stand up and walk away.
And then the other matter, in addition to North Korea, in addition to the sovereignty, America First play.
We can play that.
That was important. But in addition to that, there was also addressing the Iran nuclear deal.
The Iran deal was one of the worst and most one-sided transactions the United States has ever entered into. Frankly, that deal is an embarrassment to the United States, and I don't think you've heard the last of it, believe me.
Well, that's also fairly unambiguous Clearly, Trump wants out of the Iran deal and wants the U.S. out of the Iran deal, and I think he's right about that. So I think in terms of looking for him to put it between the eyes of the feckless global community in so many ways, failed ideologies that they propagate in their countries, particularly in the West, like socialism and what he had to say about that. Boy, overall, I thought it was pretty good speechifying, I got to say. Greg and Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. And Amy, while I was being screened, I was mentioning Iran, and then you popped in and you were talking about Iran. I thought that was great what he said, and I was really struck that it got a little bit of applause.
Yes.
When he said
that was interesting.
That's significant.
Yeah,
Very significant.
Thanks for the call, Greg, and congratulations on passing our extreme betting.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Record-breaking heat coming our way today. We're going to have a high of 89 degrees, shattering a record set back in 1931. And then tomorrow, highs in the 90s. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're going to have highs in the low to mid-90s. So summer has returned. Set your tee times now, folks. It's going to be busy out on the golf course. Let's now go into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. It'll be tough if you try to play right now because depending on where you are in the Chicago area, you likely have some pretty dense fog, and in some areas, super dense. As Mike Scott told us just a few minutes ago, in Bartlett, the visibility is 0. So be careful. Allow plenty of safe time and following distance. Watch the speeds because things can sneak up in a hurry. And this is affecting air travel. We have some delays at both airports, but right now Midway is much more affected. We've got 20 to 25 cancellations on the arrival and departure boards over the next couple of hours at Midway. So check before heading to the airports. Eisenhower inbound, little tight. Mannheim to 25th Avenue. It's 30 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Edens, Kennedy, looking good. Stevenson inbound, just a little slow. Cicero to Pulaski. The Ryan, a little slow. 18th into downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 18 minutes from I-80 to the Verge. Tollways, no delays there in northwest Indiana. It's a little foggy, but otherwise okay. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
One thing I know for sure is that so many of our Morning Answer listeners get a great night's sleep because so many of you have purchased MyPillows and have saved a lot of money. If you don't sleep on a MyPillow, I suggest you act now because by using the promo code Amy, you'll get the absolute best deal available anywhere. It's the 50% discount on the MyPillow 4-pack, including 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows. You can move the fill to give you the support you need regardless of sleep position, and you won't wake up with a stiff neck or headache. They're made in America, and you can wash and dry them, hypoallergenic, and have a 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. And the true patriot and founder of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, has graciously donated 60,000 pillows to Texas flood victims. So get your 50% off the 4-pack in September by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit mypillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. If you're in the market to buy a home right now, you know how challenging it is out there. You're competing against cash buyers, so it's critical that you work with a reputable, established mortgage company like Quicken Loans. By getting pre-approved with us, sellers will know that you're serious and ready to close when you make that offer. Here's one more way to get the home you want. You could buy a $150,000 home with as little as $1,500 down with our 1% down payment option. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%, APR 4.52%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to quickenloans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access.org number 3030.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Are you satisfied that your business is being seen effectively online? Call 866-SEEN-360. That's 866-SEEN-360 and discover how you can capture a larger share of traffic, leads, and sales from your online advertising. Call 866-SEEN-360 for a proven system to market your business online that includes unique reporting that tracks and confirms that you're being seen. Call today and talk to a digital expert who can provide your business with a comprehensive strategy. That's 866-SEEN-360.
Two strong banking teams have united to help you continue to grow your business with the same dedication and even more opportunities. And we have a new name. The private bank is now CIBC. The same team you know and trust now brings deeper resources, global banking reach, and the power to help your business seize new opportunities. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to your business is now stronger than ever. Visit us at CIBC.com/US. Member FDIC.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz, at Automated Systems when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Charles Barkley was certainly right. Pro athletes, not role models. Speaking of Colin Kaepernick, and a bunch of third graders in Cahokia, Southern Illinois, who kneeled during the national anthem before their Pee Wee football game at 5:38.
And later, the Mad Pooper of Pine Creek. Yes, she's on the lam this morning. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
66 degrees, cloudy skies, and extremely heavy, dense fog in many parts of Chicagoland. And an extremely dangerous Hurricane Maria nearing Puerto Rico. The National Hurricane Center's update this hour, it locates Maria about 50 miles southeast of Puerto Rico, moving northwest at about 10 miles an hour. Top winds 155. That makes it a Category 4 hurricane. Rescuers in central Mexico combing through the rubble this morning, one day after a deadly magnitude 7.1 quake shook the region just south of Mexico's capital city. Dozens are being pulled from debris alive, as you're hearing here. More than 200 are feared dead after a school collapsed. And other buildings hit the ground after the second major quake to hit the country in 2 weeks. President Trump's speech to the UN General Assembly yesterday saying the U.S. will totally destroy North Korea if the isolated communist state forces the U.S. to defend itself or its allies.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime. The United States is ready, willing, and able. But hopefully, this will not be necessary.
The president saying North Korea's nuclear program poses a threat to the entire world. 2017 officially the year of the long ball in Major League Baseball. Big leaguers have hit more home runs this season than in any other year in history. Kansas City's Alex Gordon broke the record with a home run number 5,694 last night. The previous record was set back in 2000 at the height of the steroid era. 5 Wheaton College football players accused of violently hazing a teammate last year now suspended from the team. At least 2 players have turned themselves in to police. A teammate claims the players bound him with duct tape, beat him, and left him on a baseball field with 2 torn muscles in his shoulders. Chicago aldermen are considering the use of tiny houses to combat homelessness in the city. Small homes discussed during a city council hearing yesterday. Catholic Charities wants to build the tiny houses on the south side for vets. Homes measure about 160 square feet and can be built in less than 2 weeks. Cubs run their winning streak to 7 games with a 2-1 victory over the Rays at Tropicana Field. White Sox suffer a 3-1 loss to the Astros. Blackhawks open preseason play with a 5-2 win over the Blue Jackets in Columbus. The news service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. When you purchase a set of Napa brakes and rotors, you get up to a $50 discount code toward your favorite fan gear from Fanatics.com. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. 5:32 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher gets a bad feeling about the North Korea situation.
My instincts generally serve me pretty well. I'm going to just tell you flat out, I have a very bad feeling about what Kim Jong-un is up to. And it's on him. But I have a bad feeling about this little chubby, weird dictator of North Korea.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Norouzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Norouzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Norouzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
5:34 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. That fog, visibilities are severely reduced to allow extra following distance and some time this morning. The Edens has no significant congestion at this hour. The Kennedy looks good, too. About Eisenhower, it's slow, 25th to Harlem, 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. How about 29? Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both running about 19 minutes from I-80 to the merge. There's some road work on the southbound tri-state from the Hinsdale Oasis, the 82nd Street toll. That's in the 2 left lanes. The other tollways look fine. Northwest Indiana as well. There are some flight delays at O'Hare and Midway, and especially at Midway, about 20 to 25 cancellations likely due to that fog. Traffic service of CiCi's. Want to taste the sauced and tossed flavors of CiCi's wings on your pizza? Now you can. New wing-inspired pizzas, honey barbecue, garlic, parmesan, and buffalo chicken, now on CiCi's buffet for just $5 and change. Prices may vary at participating locations for a limited time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Temperatures near the record of 91 set back in 1931. High of 89 today, officially. Warm and humid, patchy clouds, low 69 overnight. 64 at O'Hare, 66 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. The rest of the world today is still attacking Trump for what he said yesterday. We'll talk about it when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, how about this story out of Cahokia? The Cahokia Quarterback Club football team, 8 years old and under.
Is this in Illinois?
Yes.
Cahokia?
Yes, down the Belleville area.
Ah.
Took a knee, 8 years old and under, took a knee during the national anthem ahead of Sunday's game in Belleville.
Uh-huh.
One of the kids asked me if I saw people protesting and rioting in St. Louis. I said yes. I said, do you know why they're doing it? Said Coach Orlando Gooden. Coach Gooden said his player responded, because black people are getting killed and nobody's going to jail. Coach, who played football at Missouri,
Mizzou, yes, probably was Sam.
Said the kids knew about the Jason Stockley decision, which we've discussed.
Yeah.
Felt like it was a good teaching moment for me to circle the team and have a meeting. So Newt Rockney there down in Cahokia spoke to them about other situations that have happened in our country. I'm sure he was even-handed in his distillation of those other situations that have happened. He explained why Kaepernick has started kneeling during the anthem. Well, not anymore, because she's not on the sidelines anywhere. One of the kids asked, can we do that? I said, as long as we know why we're doing it, I don't have a problem with any of it, said the coach.
Oh, what is wrong with the coach?
What I teach my kids is love, integrity, honesty, fairness, respect, and boundaries. All of the parents on the team supported the coach's decision to take a knee. As long as I have support of my parents and team, I'm perfectly fine, and I'm covered under the First Amendment to peacefully protest and assemble. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Great moment in sports.
They're too young to really know what they're fighting for and what they're doing. And for the coach.
The parents or the kids?
The kids and the parents should be the adults and the coach and tell them to stand up. They're not going to take on Colin Kaepernick's fight. It's embarrassing. I mean, they should know the history of what people sacrifice for their freedoms and talk about that rather than some case that was already adjudicated that was the police officer was found not guilty. And that's the process in America. That's the judicial process. You go to your charge, then you go to court, and a verdict is rendered. And that's American justice system. That's how it works. You might not like the verdict or the outcome, but you don't take a knee because of it.
Think Coach Gooden explained that to the kids?
No, I
The
don't.
American justice system. Yeah.
And the people that were protesting in St. Louis were not from St. Louis. A majority of the 160 that were arrested were not from the area. They were outside agitators. And what they did, they destroyed the Marriott Convention Center downtown. They destroyed 26 other businesses. And it's sickening. They were thugs. You should take a knee to protect them, to honor them.
8-year-olds being fed a particular worldview from their parents, apparently, as well as their coach. Let's infuse 8th grade Pee Wee football with politics. And let's also consider that, and this is the point that Jonathan Haidt makes as well, the founder, who's basically a liberal academic, but he founded the Heterodoxy Academy to try and reestablish, intellectual discourse, true academic freedom on college campuses. And he essentially makes the point, when you see what's happening on college campuses, you have to consider that by the time these children get there, they have been so insulated from their parents, by their parents, I should say, so insulated by their parents, they've not had to confront nary a cross word. Right. They haven't had to deal with disagreement because, of course, what's happening at the college level is just a reflection of what's happening at the K through 12 level, is just a reflection, at least in some quarters, like apparently down in Cahokia, what's happening at home. So we can, you can look at the leftist professors and administrators all you want, but the most impactful people on a child's intellectual development are their parents, and then the teachers are in second place, but it's the parents. So when you see kids behaving like this or choosing this course of protest at 8 years old,
Yeah, if I was their coach, I would have had him sit down and listen to this interview with a St. Louis businessman who I thought he had his whole business destroyed and looted.
I personally see the value of protesting, and I've been there myself and feel that it's the cause is necessary and people need to get out there and let their voices be heard. But the kind of violent and senseless acts like this really are bothersome and sad. I don't think it hinders the cause rather than furthers the cause.
So where do they come up with the idea? Where do they come up with the idea that violence is okay to silence? Which, as we discussed yesterday, a new survey out from a UCLA professor, his academic research, finding 1 in 5 undergrads think it's okay to use violence to silence speech they find offensive.
Wow.
And where do you think this comes from? Maybe from the home. Maybe from people like Clay Travis described. Clay Travis from Outkick the Coverage, who's risen in prominence even in political circles in the last week because of his now infamous interview with Brooke Baldwin on CNN about the two things he believes in, the First Amendment being one of them.
And these things.
Yeah.
Right here, the boobs.
Technically 3 things then he believes in. Listen to this description. This is what we're talking about. These are what he's talking about, as you'll hear from his little vignette, is what happened in Cahokia in part.
This past weekend, Friday night, my wife went on a fun run in our neighborhood. It's like one of these glow runs or something, like for cancer research. You run like a 5K. I'll be damned if they didn't sing the national anthem before this fun run. Whatever, there's margaritas, beer. It's a charity event. Nobody's trying to set the record in the 5K. A dude took a knee while an 8-year-old girl sang the national anthem in the local neighborhood charity run. Can you try harder than to take a knee while an 8-year-old girl sings a charity run national anthem in a local neighborhood in this country?
Yeah, the thing is, and so you listen to that story, and then you read the story about what happened down there in Cahokia, and
These were 8 and under kids.
And I tell you, it seems like it's more and more difficult to distinguish the 8-year-olds from the alleged adults. Phil on the west side, on the northwest side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, Dan Navy. This comes from the Godless Commons. You always want to control your kids. You always tell to your kids because kids don't know what's been going on for the last 50 years with their politicians. And now that's why Hillary reads the book like she's reading to little kids, and that's why she gave a speech to the kindergarten class, so everybody should watch stuff with the International Communist Party, and they're indoctrinating our children.
All right,
Phil. Bob Emanuel shooting up our kids with sterilization shots, and it's up to the parents if they want to opt out.
All right, Phil, thanks for the call. Phil, it's a little difficult to hear you on speakerphone in your car.
Did he say sterilization shots?
No, I don't know, actually.
I think
it was difficult to discern.
Mayor Emanuel handed out sterilization shots.
Philip in Blue Island.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
That's great. Tamir Rice was 12 years old when he was shot. In 2 seconds, when the dispatcher got the call that it was a boy probably playing with a toy gun, and they still came up in 2 seconds, killed him. So 8 years old are being exposed to all this type of information. And then yesterday you have the president talking about decimating a whole country because of their wanting to have nuclear weapons to protect themselves from a country like the United States or other nuclear countries. So if you want to know where the violence comes from, America has this history of violence. It has, when you have police shooting 12 years old and shooting unarmed citizens of the United States, not just black, but shooting all citizens. How many a month, 1,000 a month or whatever, of unarmed Americans? So it's a problem with American violence more than it is with, I don't want to put it on race because I think that's where you think I want to go. But I just think that police are violent. America is violent to the world. And this is where we're getting it from. The violent video games, violent television, violent everything is based on Hollywood. It's just violent. So what our young people are getting is a daily dose of violence in almost everything that they encounter, look at, see. And we have young people that want to be conscious and say, well, I'm going to take a knee and protect black people from, or in this case, black people have been being shot and killed by police and nobody's going to jail. I think it's an admirable thing. I think the coach and those families that are endorsing this or that are supporting this should be given praise instead of what Amy is doing is laughing and making a joke out of it. But people are dying, and I don't see anything funny about it.
No, it's nothing funny about people dying. The funny thing is the propagandizing to 8-year-olds to do some virtue signaling. That's the thing that's pathetic, Philip. And I'll tell you, you have a point about the ubiquity of violence and the glorification of violence. But you know where you lose me, Philip, if I could? When you serve as a spokesman for Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un should have nuclear weapons to protect himself from America because we were going to invade and take over Pyongyang and make it the 51st state, Philip. This is the problem with kind of the unhinged, identity politic-driven, PC-addled left. You can point to some societal ills and we'll agree. You've got all the solutions wrong. You've got the whole story of America wrong. You have a stylized, myopic view of institutions like police based on one-off cases, that in many of which are conceded in terms of bad actors, and you're going to have bad actors in a 13,000 man and woman police force, say Chicago, just as you have bad actors in every other institution, every other corporation, every other walk of life, including all the big government politicians that you're otherwise inclined to support. Philip? Big government politicians, to be generous, this I guess is how you view him, like Kim Jong-un, who just wants nuclear weapons to protect himself from America. Philip, next time you're thinking about calling the station, I would do one of two things. Either think or use a pseudonym.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coins and currency are full of history. Coins and currency are fun to look at. Coins and currency can be great investments and a great hobby, too. Here's your opportunity to see one of the largest coin shows in the nation. It's free. Make plans now to attend the 58th Coin and Currency Show, presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association. The show is at a new location, the Mega Center at the Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles, this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Admission and parking are free. Just bring your photo ID. Hundreds of dealers, The best from all over the country. See displays valued at millions of dollars. U.S. and world paper money, gold and silver bullion, and a lot more. On Friday at 5, Fox Valley Coins will hold an auction. This is a show for the whole family. The 58th Coin and Currency Show, presented by the Illinois Numismatic Association. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the brand new location, the Mega Center at Pheasant Run Resort in St. Charles. Admission and parking are free with your photo ID. More info at ilnaclub.org. That's ilnaclub.org.
So who doesn't want insurance for their computer networks? You know, something to protect your hardware and software, and more importantly, give you peace of mind. You can leave the office knowing that someone's got your back. Well, using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians. They're there working for you in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They help you over the phone. They'll make house calls to your workplace. And they don't wait until there's an emergency call because they work hard to take those preventative measures to keep networks secured, backed up, and running nonstop. Turnkey IT can protect your network with the Turnkey experience. That includes Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support, yes, even late at night, early hours, and on the weekends. So find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
Upstream-ideas.com, our digital platform with original content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series. Podcasts of our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, which airs on these airwaves Sundays at 3 p.m. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments, as well as My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries, 2-minute warnings, and dollar and cents reviews from Pat Hughes of the Illinois Opportunity Project. Our new series, Heart of the Matter, featuring professional women speaking colleague to colleague about the important issues of the day and their impacts on families. And again, don't forget to get your free property tax report at a sister site, defendhomeowners.com, our Homeowners Defense Association, to provide people information about, particularly those in Illinois who pay the highest property taxes in the nation, provide them information about what is happening to your home value and what you can do about it. Check it all out at upstream-ideas.com.
There's a place where you can get custom metal products. If you manage a commercial kitchen, hotel, condo building, or food-grade manufacturing plant, then no matter the type of metal or size of the project, the skillfully trained fabrication team at Vans Industrial has you covered.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Custom metal fabrication is the backbone of my company. We fabricate stainless steel countertops, wall coverings, hoods, landscape planter boxes, industrial fan housings, and more. Vans Industrial uses all types of alloys like carbon steel, aluminum, brass, and polished stainless steel. And we have a laser cutting machine. Our laser can customize almost any project. Our team can design, fabricate, and install your project today.
Call 219-931-4881 today for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's V-A-N-S, industrial.com. Vans Industrial, customizing for you, the customer.
Have you ever ordered something off the internet or from a catalog, only to receive the package and think, this can't be what I ordered, it's horrible? At Tasty Catering, we know how delicate ordering blindly can be, especially when it comes to choosing your food. And when you're hiring a caterer for a business function or event, there's so much more pressure to pick just the right menu from just the right company. You don't have to rely solely on menu pictures to make your decision anymore. Not only do Tasty Catering sales representatives walk you through our menus and answer all your questions, we also invite clients for lunch to meet the people that will cook and deliver your food. Plus, you can get a taste of what you want to order when you have lunch with us at our place. Whoever said there's no such thing as a free lunch clearly never ordered from Tasty Catering. Call 847-593-2000, 847-593-2000. Go to tastycatering.com for more information on how we can help you with your next business function or event, and how you can score a lunchtime invitation to try before you buy. tastycatering.com.
Whether you like it or not, winter is right around the corner. As the leaves start to turn, you may be wondering if the vehicle you depend on every day to take the kids to school, run errands, and get to work is prepared to handle another Chicagoland winter. Don't worry, Joe Cotton Ford has you covered during their Ford SUV sales event. Now through September 30th, you'll save thousands when you select from hundreds of in-stock new Ford SUVs and crossovers. As one of the highest repeat customer dealerships in Chicagoland, the team at Joe Cotton Ford has been working with generations of Ford buyers and their families. They'll offer you a different car buying experience. In fact, your satisfaction is their top priority. And remember, Joe Cotton Ford is open in both sales and service. They service all vehicles, even on Saturday. It's easy. Schedule your service appointment now at joecottonford.com. Get to Joe Cotton Ford today and drive home your new Ford car, truck, or SUV. Gary and North Avenue and Carroll Stream, or at joecottonford.com. That's joecottonford.com.
5:57 and a check of the roads this morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Flight boards at Midway show a number of cancellations this morning. There are a few delays at O'Hare as well with that fog. The Edens is foggy, but otherwise okay. No significant delays to report on the Kennedy. Got Eisenhower heavy 25th to Harlem, 33 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30, Stevenson 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishopport, both 22 minutes from I-80 to the Verge. Eastbound Adams Tollway, it's heavy from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples helps your business create color presentations for less. Now get 20% back in Staples rewards on color copies. Manuals and presentations are designed to impress. Staples, it's pro time. Offer ends 11/4/17. Exclusions apply. Go to staples.com/20color for more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Areas of fog for the morning. Otherwise, today, periods of clouds and sunshine. High 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, very warm and humid with a low of 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently 65 degrees at O'Hare. The news, a service of Experian. Think data breaches only affect companies? Think again. Be your data sold on the dark web. See if you're at risk with a free dark web email scan only from Experian. Costs nothing and could help keep your identity yours. Start now for free at Experian.com/scan. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560. The Answer. Foggy conditions could lead to difficult driving in parts of Chicagoland. A dense fog advisory up until 9 a.m. 5 Wheaton College football players accused of violently hazing a teammate last year, suspended from the team. Federal prosecutors outlining the scope of the tax and fraud case against former powerhouse Chicago Alderman Eddie Verdoliak. Former Bears and Panthers cornerback Charles Tillman on a new career path, training to become an FBI agent. Cubs over the Rays. White Sox lose to the Astros. More Dan and Amy after Fox News, WIND Chicago News Time. 6.
Puerto Rico is starting to take a beating. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Hurricane Maria's made landfall in the U.S. territory.
We would be hunkered down here and possibly won't be able to open any doors till possibly Thursday.
That's Amaryllis Cotto with the National Weather Service in Puerto Rico. People were urged to evacuate or possibly die.
Forecast wind gusts 147 miles per hour in San Juan. Millions of people live here. Over 3 million people live in Puerto Rico. So this could potentially be catastrophic for them. They haven't had a Category 4 landfall since the 30s.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean Marie also battered the already Irma-damaged Virgin Islands overnight. They're still digging, looking for earthquake survivors in Mexico.
There was a point that we couldn't even walk because of the shake of the building.
Now, some may still be trapped alive in and around Mexico City. Homes and buildings collapsed. Sounds have been heard from the rubble of a school. The bodies of 21 kids were pulled out, among the at least 217 killed by the quake. Hillary Clinton was not a fan of President Trump's UN address yesterday, telling the CBS Late Show it was dark and dangerous.
Not the kind of message that the leader of the greatest nation in the world should be delivering.
A few minutes ago, the president tweeted she criticizes now after allowing North Korea to research and build nukes, while Secretary of State adding Bill Clinton also. The president also tweeted America first, and a big day of meetings today at the UN. Fox's Tanya J. Powers live in New York.
Well, the president has bilateral meetings scheduled with Jordan's King Abdullah to start the day, then meets with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. Then this afternoon, he'll meet with British Prime Minister Theresa May. Vice President Pence will sit in on that one. President Trump wraps up his day meetings with Egyptian President al-Sisi. Now, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson scheduled to sit in on those meetings with the president today as well. He'll also attend an EU-hosted meeting. His Iranian counterpart could also be there too, Dave.
This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
The biggest conservative event in Chicago is back. It's Freedom Summit 2017, and it's coming to the Westin Chicago Northwest in Itasca on Saturday, November 11th, and it's bigger than ever. This year, see best-selling author and filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza, along with Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, Larry Elder, Joe Walsh, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and many more. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by healthinsurancementors.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.67%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I want to pick up that story we talked a little bit about yesterday, the New York Times story, and also some CNN reporting about the likelihood Paul Manafort, former Trump campaign manager, will be indicted on charges unrelated to his business practices, not anything related to the 2016 presidential campaign, as far as we know, per their reporting, okay? Mm-hmm. But the surveillance of Manafort, the question of the surveillance of Manafort, the idea of the federal government surveilling, and those in charge of the federal government, surveilling individuals who represent the political opposition. The party in power surveilling principles of the party and the campaign seeking power that's out of power. Does that present any problems to you? 312-642-5600, Turkey.pro answer line. But first, we were talking just about that story in Cahokia, a bunch of 8-year-olds for this quarterback club Pee Wee football team taking a knee during the national anthem.
You have to see the video, too, if you haven't seen it. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
William in Kalamazoo, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I just find it kind of humorous that the left is just so ignorant of history, because this is exactly the method that Mao, Mussolini, and Lenin utilized to get their agenda across. We're the children. were the school-age ones. And what I find most humorous about it is these little brown, red, and black shirts eventually turned on these teachers and adults that they deemed not loyal enough to the state.
Yeah, thanks for the call, William. Maybe they're not so ignorant of history. They just want everybody else to be. That's a possibility, too. Appreciate that. But let's get back to this. Wall Street Journal opining on the topic. And James Comey and his politicized FBI. Saying, the Wall Street Journal, when Trump claimed in March he had his wires tapped prior to the election, the press and Obama officials dismissed the accusation as fantasy. We were among the skeptics. But with former Director James Comey's politicized FBI, the story is getting a bit more complicated. Mr. Comey told Congress in late March he had no information that supports those Trump tweets about being wiretapped. Former DNI, James Clapper.
Oh, yeah.
Clap on. Clap off. Clap on, clap off, James Clapper. Was even more specific that there was no such wiretap activity mounted against the president-elect at the time or as a candidate or against his campaign. He denied that any such FISA order existed.
I mean, can anybody...
Were they lying?
Yeah. I mean, can anybody take James Clapper seriously? I mean, I remember watching him on Meet the Press where he categorically denied any wiretap against the Trump campaign.
So were they lying? The Journal goes on to say, well, you know, it's worth finding out, isn't this? Isn't this a legitimate issue?
Is it a possibility they used this, these allegations against Manafort to get to Trump, to see if there was anything nefarious, to listen in on the campaign, to listen in on their conversations, to see if they discussed any?
Here's the questions that should be asked and answered, rather than like surmising things we don't know. But there are legitimate questions, it seems to me, that should be answered. Was the president, Obama, who's not been mentioned in the story at all, was he briefed on the details of the FISA warrant that was issued to surveil the campaign manager of Donald Trump running against his party and his endorsed candidate for president, Hillary Clinton? Who else was consulted or informed about the surveillance plans? Is that a legitimate issue? I think it's a legitimate question that requires an answer. Again, going back to the Journal's opining on this, Americans deserve to know how our government came to spy on people associated with the presidential campaign of the party out of power. I don't think that's unreasonable.
No, it's not.
Oh, by the way, in a related story, while she's on her book tour, much to the chagrin of the Democrat institutional interests.
Who's she blaming today? Are we on chapter 5 yet? What happened?
Washdog, the erstwhile shadow attorney general during the Obama years, Judicial Watch, shared 1,600 fresh emails released thanks to their FOIA lawsuits.
Oh.
That, again, Clinton and company had failed to turn over from the private servers, but which feds recovered from other sources. The new emails recovered contain examples of the Clinton Foundation requesting and receiving State Department favors, plus more cases of classified information being sent through unsecure non-state.gov accounts. And Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch, saying, I don't understand why the Justice Department hasn't gotten its act together and reinitiated an investigation as to what went on here, because we all know Comey's investigation was a sham. They need to restart it. It goes back to the Kim Strassel piece about Russian collusion. Maybe the entire D.C. press corps narrative is 180 degrees off. Maybe it was, DWS's, Debbie Wasserman Schultz's IT guy getting indicted. Her demand of Capitol Police to give her back her computer, even though it was part of an investigation into an alleged break-in and alleged hacking of the DNC. But she didn't seem so interested in finding the culprit of the hacking.
No.
It may be that much of the nefarious activity, and I'm not excusing Paul Manafort, and if he's guilty of crimes in the categories that have been suggested, okay, then prosecute him. If he's guilty of any crimes, okay, then prosecute him. I'll go wherever the information leads. But it seems that there is a willful blindness at best a willful blindness to look at who are really the bad actors in this saga when it comes to all of these matters, when it comes to the surveillance state, potentially when it comes to collusion with Russia? What if we've got it all wrong, as Kim Strassel asked in an excellent piece a few months ago? Evidence against Hillary continues to pile up. Evidence against President Trump continues to be lacking. And the statements that Comey made during much of his tenure at the FBI related to these topics, as well as Director of National Intelligence Clapper, continue to not square with at least the reporting that's being done, and reporting by those outlets that are not doing the bidding of Donald Trump. That's for certain. The Trump dossier too. No, who paid for the Trump dossier? Why is that not a legitimate question? It was important enough that national security agencies briefed Trump, Comey specifically. Why don't I find out who financed it? Is that relevant? Casper in West Chicago. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning, Dan. Again, it's against you, Dan. It's really laughable how you want to motivate the Trump supporters and how you use this program just to take everything that you can to advance your goal to diminish the other party and get out of your party.
What am I? Wait, I'm sorry. Casper, I didn't hear you. What am I trying? Casper, stop talking.
Okay.
What did I say?
Let me finish.
Well, I'm asking you to clarify what you said I'm doing. What my goal is here?
Yeah.
What is it?
That's what I want to say.
Oh, okay.
You just talk about big conspiration in the other side about the police. You say it's a big conspiration because you have to respect how the law works in this country, and you say the people who is protesting because of the shooting of the black people is very wrong because they have to have confidence in the law. Right now, you are talking in the other side. You don't have confidence on the FISA order that a judge gave against this guy Manafort, who is a dirty guy. He was being investigated before he was with Trump, and now who wants to take this subject to motivate the Trump supporters? It's very laughable how you use your program and all these issues just to advance your goal of your party.
Yeah, Casper, can I ask you a question?
It's very bad.
Casper, do you take questions? Yeah. Do you dialogue with people, or do you just talk over them?
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Did I not just say if Paul Manafort is guilty of crimes, then he should be prosecuted, whatever those crimes are? I don't care.
Do you respect how the law works in this country? Do you respect it?
Well, I guess so, because I'm just suggesting if Paul Manafort committed crimes, he should be prosecuted. Number one. Number two.
So why you are?
Can you answer my question now?
Big conspiration theories just to advance your goal to motivate this guy.
To motivate what guy?
The Trump supporters.
Oh,
because
no.
all your program is about to support Trump supporters.
No, it's not.
Every issue that you take is to diminish the other side.
There's no question I'm against the left, but I'm no flack for Trump. Anybody who's Casper, don't interrupt me. Casper, don't interrupt me. I need to make a statement uninterrupted. So, there's no question I'm an opponent of the left in all of its. Many poisonous forms, the whole parade of horribles. There's no question about that. If you've listened to the show at all over the last 2 years, you'll know I'm not in the tank for Trump. But the more important point is the questions that are raised by the Wall Street Journal about and this, because this cuts both ways, Casper, when you're the party out of power, now that you are the party out of power. I mean, would you have questions if President Trump and his administration had let's fast forward to 2020. Let me give you a hypothetical. Let me give you a hypothetical. Let me just ask a question, Casper. If Bernie Sanders if Bernie Sanders, if it was found out that Bernie Sanders was surveilled by the federal government or his wife, because, his wife may be in a little bit of legal trouble herself with the bankruptcy of that college she was the head of. But if it was found out that Trump administration had surveilled Bernie Sanders' wife, would you say,
that's an abuse of power?
Yeah, is that a political use of the state to negatively impact your opponents? And is that something that is anathema to a free society? Is that big surveillance state being used for political purposes, not national security purposes? And that's not something we should tolerate. Would you be saying that if the partisan affiliations and the personalities were different than they are in this case that we're describing, with the same question being asked of the previous administration?
Well, if you want to do that questions about that, why you don't do the same questions about the other issue, about the police?
Well, we talk about
the same question.
Well, you're not answering my question.
I'm talking about your partisan use of these issues just to advance your goals.
Yeah, no, I know. Okay, all right, Casper.
If you want to advance
last chance
conspiracy theories, do it in both sides, not in your side.
All right, thanks, Casper. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for the call, Casper. Okay. So, you got to try. I mean, and then at some point you understand that there's no point.
There's a 5-minute limit, man.
Well, I mean, I'm trying, you're trying
to get
pull
through
something. Look, the whole the police thing too. This is like people wanting to project onto you positions you don't have. We've talked about the Walter Scott case.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about the Laquan McDonald case. We've talked about other cases of police-involved shooting, white on black, where police were clearly in the wrong. What they did was not only morally wrong, it was illegal.
And black on blonde, yes. The police officer in Minnesota, African-American, shooting a blonde.
Right, and that's a protected class, blonde.
Exactly.
Even those that are not natural.
What ones are?
Right, exactly.
That's a talk topic for a different time.
But I mean,
no, I know.
So we're and then there's cases that are that I think are difficult to discern from afar, and we have disagreements about them. Some people think the police were wrong in this particular case, and other people think that they responded in a legal and professional way, given the context of a particular. That all these instances aren't the same, just because you have a handful of instances where it is white cop and black suspect. They're not all the same. The facts aren't the same. The individuals aren't the same. What happened isn't the same. And so you make case-by-case judgments. The individual is the unit of analysis, not the group. All police this or all black people that. How ignorant is that? That's not the way you come to any proper judgments. That's why in our justice system, you have jurors weigh the evidence that's presented and make an individual determination based on the evidence presented, whether it's the reasonable doubt standard or the preponderance of the evidence standard in civil cases. But all of this is, your kids are protesting black people being murdered by police. That's what you think is going on in Cahokia with these 8-year-olds? That's your defense? The Wall Street Journal, conspiracy theories about the Obama administration, asking legitimate questions about your government. It is not a legitimate question. It's not a legitimate question, as the Wall Street Journal suggested, to know how your government came to spy on people associated with the presidential campaign of the party out of power. And would you think differently if the partisan affiliations were reversed? I suspect people like Casper would think very differently about it. I suspect they would. Legitimate questions about living in a free society. And by the way, not dissimilar to this show, the Wall Street Journal has routinely been critical of Trump. Routinely, and Trump associates. They even mentioned in their one op-ed today on the topic that we were skeptics too. We dismissed, along with the press and Obama, Trump's accusation about being wiretapped by the previous administration, which doesn't look so fantastical all of the sudden, based on reporting from outlets that flack for the left. So conspiracy theories is one thing. Asking legitimate questions about your government and the implications of what your government may be doing that transcend partisan affiliation That's not conspiracy theories. And it has nothing to do with, all of these ancillary issues that people want to bring in so as to muddy the waters about the legitimate questions that are being advanced by serious people. Unfortunately, I think we don't have enough serious people in this country.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of warm weather coming your way, and it begins today. We're going to have some sun, but the temperature is going to hit the record of 91 degrees set back in 1931. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, highs all in the mid to low 90s. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Serious traffic now on the inbound side of the Eisenhower. Delays are from Wolf to Harlem. It's 50 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 34. Eden's 22 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 20. The Kennedy 33 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 26. The Stevenson 54 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 40 from the Tri-State. Outbound 38 minutes to 355. Ryan is 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57, 29 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Mission 420. Northbound Tri-State delays are from 95th to the Mile Long Bridge and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Eastbound Adams Tollway, there's a jam. Tri-State to Kennedy. The other tollways are good, but that fog is dense. Visibilities are under a quarter mile in parts of the Chicago area. There are some flight delays and a number of cancellations at Midway. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Gentlemen, when it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone and prostate numbers? I know mine. Low T Center made it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, I was able to get my results in minutes. And in honor of Prostate Health Month, Low T Center is offering a $50 testosterone and prostate level test in September. So, gentlemen, if you don't know your numbers, haven't met your deductible, or don't have insurance, you should take advantage of this limited time offer. I know at Low T Center, they'll take great care of you. Plus, it's quick, easy, and you'll get your results in about 20 minutes. Do yourself a favor and call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. The number 312-239-3427. Call now or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Infections, pain, and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing. Steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called the Smart Sinus Procedure.
I felt better right away. Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if the Smart Sinus Procedure is right for you. It's covered by Medicare and most insurance. Set an appointment today with Smart Sinus. And with your deductibles met, now may be the best time to call. Call 847-873-8776. 847-873-8776. That's 847-873-8776.
Hey, trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor. And Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Barron, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing brick and roofing is Joe's specialty. Now, Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any other type of remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Barron. So call Joe Barron at Dependable Construction, mention AM 560, and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091. Or visit tuckpointchicago.net. That's tuckpointchicago.net.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his two business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text MONEY15 to 99,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text in the next 10 minutes and you'll also receive a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Text MONEY15 to 99,000. That's MONEY15 to 99,000.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Hurricane Maria making landfall in Puerto Rico.
No, it's Puerto Rico.
I say it like Daddy Yankee.
You know, I talked to relatives that's down there, and they said it's as if a woman is screaming at the top of her. That's how loud it is. 156 mile per hour winds. It's
a lot of men know that out there.
Well, it's going to be devastating. Oh, stop it. So hopefully keep them in your prayers. They're going to need it. And that's what the governor asked for, too, of Puerto Rico, for us to pray for them.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kinsey Lee, 37, she's a creative young woman. She lost power in Hurricane Irma down there in the Tampa area.
It's tens of thousands of people did, yeah.
Yeah.
We even had linemen from up here, from ComEd, to, take the trucks down there to help.
She was not going to wait patiently. She took some initiative. She created a huge sign. Hot single female seeks sexy lineman to electrify her life.
That's awesome.
And then posted that online, and of course it went viral.
Well, I saw the picture. She's not so bad herself, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
She's a hot, sexy number 2. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, she's easy on the eyes.
No, I got what you drew.
Okay.
How many different synonyms are you going to use? Synonymous phrases are you going to use? She's hot. Yeah, I got that. That's what it says on the sign right there. Hot single female.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Not false advertising. And this is interesting. And, oh, by the way, every lineman in the greater Tampa area responded. And, of course, her power was put back on. And
good for her.
All's well that ends well. Here's the interesting subtext of the story, though. She is a kidney transplant recipient. Oh. She had stage 5 kidney failure in October. She'd been on the Oregon donor list for 100 days when she underwent the transplant August 31st. So when Irma struck, she was hospitalized again because it was just like 10 days later because of a complication and then later moved to a friend's house before coming up with the idea for the sign.
So she was desperate to get her power back on. Because she even said that without power, there's no air conditioning and the heat makes her feel sick.
Yeah, and here's the nice thing she did, paying it forward for those linemen who responded to her distress call.
Yeah, what did she do for them?
Well, because of her, the increased profile she had, she She's an organ donor.
Mhm.
She was saved by an organ donor. She did a GoFundMe page for the
for the 15-year-old kid who died.
whose organ she benefited from. He was an organ donor. She got his kidney. 15-year-old. So she did a GoFundMe page for the family of this young man, Elijah Mayhew, to help the family with their medical bills and funeral costs.
Good, because he also donated 8 other organs, and I know that a 16-year-old girl was recipient of his heart. So good for her.
Yeah, great story.
And I wonder if there's
particularly
gonna
for the
be-
linemen.
Well, yeah, but I wonder if there's going to be, I want to know the lineman story. If they're dating. Well, you never, they could have sparked a relationship.
Yeah,
When she met the lineman.
Some people are more particular than others, Mrs. Edward James Olmos. Take it easy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump at the UN.
But first, let's go to the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
66 degrees, foggy conditions leading to difficult driving conditions. Many parts of Chicagoland this morning. National Hurricane Center says Maria makes landfall in southeast Puerto Rico. Category 4 storm. Winds at 155 miles an hour. The first Category 4 hurricane to make landfall in Puerto Rico since 1932. Rescuers in central Mexico continue to comb through rubble this morning, day after a deadly 7.1 quake shook the region.
Because the soil in Mexico City amplifies the shaking by a factor of 100 or more, they get a lot of damage from faraway earthquakes.
More than 200 are dead in the second major quake to hit that country in 2 weeks. Seismologist Dr. Lucy Jones with Caltech says there's still more damage to do in Mexico City because of aftershocks. Senate Republicans moving quickly on an effort to repeal Obamacare.
We know how this movie ends if we don't change. We're going to have a single-payer health care system in this country that's going to bust the budget, and we're going to start rationing care like you've never seen.
Graham is co-sponsoring a bill that would shift federal health care dollars to states in the form of so-called block grants. Sundown tonight, the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, first of the Jewish high holy holidays, bringing in the new year. Amazon says a technical glitch caused some of its customers to get an email saying someone bought a gift from their baby registry. That came as quite a surprise to many customers without babies. The link in the email went to an error message. Amazon confirmed the glitch, but is not saying how many people got the email. 5 Wheaton College football players accused of violently hazing a teammate last year are now suspended from the team. At least 2 of the players have turned themselves in to police. Federal prosecutors are outlining the scope of their tax and fraud case against former powerhouse Chicago Alderman Eddie Verdoliak. And it looks like the Office of Illinois Attorney General will not pass from one Democrat dynasty to another. Alderman Ed Burke says, though his daughter Sarah considered running to replace Lisa Madigan, she has decided against it. Cubs over the Rays 2-1. White Sox suffer a 3-1 loss to the Astros. The news a service of Napa Auto Parts. For more than 90 years, Napa Auto Parts has provided the quality parts and expertise to help you keep almost anything on the road. And now, with Napa Rewards, you can save money on all the parts you need to keep your car running. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager doesn't say things he doesn't believe.
America has never endured this, where you had to keep your political ideas to yourself, or you would be fired, or you would be ostracized, or you would lose a daughter or son not talking to you anymore. When I say that the left is destroying civilization, I don't mean it hyperbolically, I don't mean it dramatically, I mean it because I believe it. I say it because I believe it.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
The private bank is now CIBC. Their name may have changed, but their commitment to your business is now stronger than ever. Visit CIBC.com/US. Member FDIC.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
It is 6:36 and a check of your morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, the very latest, with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. With that dense fog, we're looking at the flight boards at O'Hare. We're not seeing many delays there, but Midway has a number of cancellations, around more or less about 20 this morning, affecting both arrivals and departures. Inbound Eden's delays start around Gulf Road. 29 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 26. The Eisenhower's a 50-minute drive from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 34. Stevenson Jam, 355 to Cass, Harlem to Kedzie, and Ashland most of the way to Lakeshore Drive. It's an hour and 16 minutes from 355 to the drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow from 115th to LaGrange Road, Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Eastbound Adams Tollway, it's jammed from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples helps your business create color presentations for less. Now get 20% back in Staples rewards on color copies, manuals, and presentations that are designed to impress. Staples, Pro Time. Offer ends 11/4/17. Exclusions apply. Go to staples.com/20color for more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Temps could soar near the record of 91 today. Warm and humid overnight, low 69. Mostly sunny. Temperatures near the record of 92 tomorrow. Very humid. And tomorrow night, a low of 71. Currently 66. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy comes your way now. And make sure to join me, Larry Elder, tonight at 7, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Let's take this stateside a little bit. Oh, this is interesting. You'll be interested in this story, Amy.
The Wheaton football players?
No. Unless you have something you'd like to say about that.
No, I mean, I just think that they're hiding behind the federal student privacy protection. They've known about...
They're hiding behind the law?
They've known about the 5 football players who have hazed this freshman for a year and a half, yet they were...
Who's they?
The officials at the school knew about this. What they did was allegedly take a freshman in the middle of the night, put a pillowcase on his head, duct taped him, his arms and shoulders back. That's why he's had 3 shoulder injuries. Left him half naked at a baseball diamond in Wheaton in some elementary school. And now, since the victim's attorney filed a lawsuit, now they're asked the 5 to turn themselves in for federal charge for mob action, kidnapping. I mean, it's just, they've known about this for a year and a half, and the university still allowed them to be on the football team. Their names are still on the roster. They even have been practicing all summer long. I just think that they're hiding behind their student policy code. And
I'm sorry, did you
why,
say...
why wouldn't Wheaton police go? Why wouldn't Wheaton college officials go to Wheaton police right away?
Number one, that's a rite of passage in Wheaton. I had the same thing happen to me. Number two, why didn't the victim go to police?
The victim went and hired an attorney.
So
Terry Eckel.
I understand.
He will have an arraignment date.
Well, hold on.
We have reason to believe that hazing has taken place with the football team for a number of years. Where's the discipline? Suspension from school, kicked out of school, suspended off the football team, kicked off the football team. None of those things happened.
And so what did, I mean, since you're on this story, what did the Wheaton College administration do?
They said that our internal investigation resulted in corrective action, and we're unable to share details due to federal student privacy protections. Well, don't you think that if somebody did that to your kid or to one of your nephews, you would want them kicked off the football team?
Yes.
But nothing happened for a year and a half, and they even were able to play last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that since the lawsuit was filed, they got caught, and now they're taking disciplinary actions because two of the five turned themselves in last night. I'm just saying it doesn't look good for Wheaton College.
Yeah, I agree.
And the student that they allegedly abused has left the school and is on a different football. He's part of a different football program.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
I'm just saying, well, we're so protective of our little, dainty flower children. Where was this guy's protection? Why weren't those players suspended right away when they knew what happened?
And I mean, again, I'm not blaming the victim here. I'm asking a question. These are police matters when somebody's assaulted. And so what's the explanation for why he went to a plaintiff's attorney and not the police? And it took a year and a half?
Maybe he was scared. I don't know. Is this a possible money grab? I don't know. I mean, they want money for the 2 torn shoulders and I'm sure for pain and suffering because they dragged him kicking and screaming from his dorm room.
Yeah, I get the plaintiff's case. I get the tort. This is not complicated. The only thing that's interesting about this story, potentially, there's 2 questions. One is, why didn't this become a police matter initially, either from the alleged victim or as per the school referring it to police? And do we know that it didn't? Do we? Do we know when this was referred to police?
Well, they asked them to turn themselves in yesterday, so I do not know when this was referred to police.
Right, so we don't know. So we don't know what the administration did as it pertains to enlisting police to investigate this. And we don't know what police did and when they did it, other than when this became public enough, they felt the pressure to respond. And now, as you said, 2 have surrendered and are facing charges. So the only thing that's interesting, the victim in the case, what he did or did not do and when he did or did not do it, and the administration, what he did or did not do, what they did or did not do, and when did they do it, and what restraints do they have per all these federal privacy laws that govern even universities like Wheaton College. So if you don't have answers to those questions, okay, yes, hazing is bad. Be nice to other people. Dennis in Crystal Lake.
Dan, hazing is good.
Hazing is good. The alternative viewpoint.
Keep your sons out of the military, or you're going to be hitting your representative and senator every other day. Because what do you think the Navy SEALs is? It's one big hazing. What do you think the Rangers is? One big hazing. That's why this country is going to get hit and hit hard because of attitudes like yours.
Okay, thanks for the call, Dennis, from the pro-hazing quarter.
Never looked at it from that angle before.
Well, I'm not. Look, there are lines here.
Yeah.
Okay, code red, Dennis. There is what happens, particularly among guys, football players, athletes, in a fraternity.
Well, don't rule out sororities. I mean, I was hazed. I was dragged from my dorm room at 2 a.m.
You probably deserved it.
Oh my! Will you stop it? And they had to go cow tipping, and then had to dance in front of Fiji's. It was just. I mean, I'm still recovering from this.
I'm recovering from the story. This is an example of legitimate.
But this is real hazing.
Horseplay.
Right.
Yours is.
Well, it's still scary.
No.
I mean.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how it's going to end.
So, like, everything is bullying, so nothing's bullying. So, what happens among kids, Dennis is right about you have to kind of learn to fend for yourself, and you have to be willing to take a little bit of ribbing and cow tipping and dancing before Fiji's. You have to.
It's too soon, Dan.
But everybody has to take a little bit of that. But not. But then Code Red Dennis takes it a little too far. Stripping somebody naked, tying them up, stuffing a pillow in their mouth, and some of the other things that we know have happened, and then leaving them in a field somewhere. Nah, and it's beyond the pale, I'd say. So there's good-natured. I can't say hazing anymore because it's been so politicized and dramatized. There's good-natured busting of chops that occurs in groups of young men in a team atmosphere, and young women too, I'm sure. And then there's assaulting somebody. Then there's physically violating somebody. And I'm not talking about punching, punching somebody in the arm or something like this, or giving them a noogie. I'm talking about what we're talking about at Wheaton College.
Beaten and half naked.
Yeah,
his
I mean, come on. This is
arms duct taped together. And
is this not obvious? I mean,
Well, I'm just mad. I'm upset that they didn't do something right away and that these players are still playing football and on the roster. Now, again, they're going to have their turn in court October 23rd to tell their side of the story. And one of the football players' attorneys said, please just wait.
He will have an arraignment date, October 23rd at 10 o'clock, and we will try the case in court.
Yeah.
So don't rush to judgment.
Okay. Right. There's nothing more scintillating than listening to attorneys try and position
I didn't tell you the attorney's
before their
name.
court date. It's fascinating. I'm going to think a lot about what she just said. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, good morning. It's kind of sad all around. My thought is this: certainly for the kid that took the beating, that's awful. And these kids are teenagers. The kids that did it, they screwed up big time. They got their pictures in the paper. They got these felony charges, and they screwed up as 16 and 17-year-olds, and it's going to follow them. My question: the article said that in part of the hazing that it had a Muslim component to it, an anti-Muslim component. And I'm just wondering, is this a thing again? When my kids are teenagers, I wasn't seeing that. They weren't in the sports like that. But is this like a, you know where I'm going with this, Dan? Is this a political thing, and is this from the family? That's just what I'm wondering. I'm not
Political thing? Wait, I don't get it. Yeah. How is it political?
Because of the Muslims, it's a thing that where I'm going with this. I think you do.
Yeah, Look, I'll go wherever the evidence leads, as I want to say, because that's what I believe. But I'm not going to try and read tea leaves that there's no evidence to support. And by the way, not that they abided the character statement that all Wheaton College undergrads are required to sign. They obviously didn't.
Right.
But again, the point is that very much like Michael Boland, Monsignor Boland says about Catholics, Catholic schools take non-Catholics because we're Catholic, not because they are, not because the students are. That's our mission as servant leaders. And it's the same thing in the evangelical Christian community, like at Wheaton College. Now, these kids obviously forgot the statements they signed.
Yeah, you think?
But I mean, let's not kind of raise issues that are sans evidence at this point to turn this into something that it may not be. Because once you go down that road, you can't. It's difficult to walk back.
Well, again, this whole thing with I'm going to be real delicate here, but there's an evangelical component to the Trumpism that probably didn't exist. We wouldn't be having this conversation 18 or 24 months.
Oh,
even
no.
You think Trump is a popular figure on the campus of Wheaton College? I would suggest he is not. Thanks for the call, Tom. I appreciate it. Bob and Lyle, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, 50 years ago, hazing was then. It happened to us. What happened is I went to West Leyden High School, and they used to put a penny on the sidewalk, and they used to make the freshmen push the penny with their nose.
Yeah.
So this girl put the penny down for me. I picked it up, and I threw it at her. And then her boyfriend gets a hall pass to get me out of my class so he could beat me up. So he's chasing me through the school. He never caught me, and I had to get my older brother, to get him off my back. So that was my first thing with hazing. And I'm right with the
and also the basis of the screenplay, My Bodyguard.
Well, the horror you must have endured.
Okay, Bob.
Okay.
All right. What was your first thing, and then how did you
how did it
how did you pay that bullying forward? Who did you beat up?
It continued on. Like the guy said in the Army, when I got drafted in the Army, they used to make us crawl under the barracks at 2 o'clock in the morning and hose us down. I mean, if that isn't hazing, I don't know what is.
Well, yeah.
I'm telling you. You know, this is what happens in life. It's too bad, though, the kid, they went a little overboard on him, and that's what happened. So, you know, I don't think that they really wanted to kidnap him. I mean, this is ridiculous. But anyway, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
And I should say,
Thanks for the call, Bob.
I want to correct myself. 3 of the 5 players accused were on the roster for last Saturday's game.
Yeah, we were supposed to protect Santiago. We're supposed to protect people that are weaker than us.
You can't handle the truth.
You're gosh darn right I ordered that Code Red!
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Best Buy stumbling with investors. Fed Chair Janet Yellen meets the press today. Adidas cheering we're number 2. Those stories next. Are you being intimidated by the IRS? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who've helped thousands of people with problems just like yours, and they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. If you are an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS, you can turn to them for help. Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns? Let Rapid Resolution Tax Group intervene for you. They're accredited with and A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. Investors watching today's performance by consumer electronics change Best Buy after its shares plummeted 8% yesterday on reports of lower long-term profits. Best Buy says its costs have risen as it invests to compete with online competitor Amazon. Wall Street awaiting a news conference by Fed Chair Janet Yellen, which may shed light this afternoon on both her future and the direction of interest rates. The hotly competitive sneaker industry has a new number 2. Adidas has just surpassed brand Jordan as the second most popular sneaker line in the country. Adidas sales jumped 50% last month, but Nike still holds the top spot in national sales. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Upstream-ideas.com.
I couldn't do it to the cow.
You couldn't cow tip.
No.
Because you didn't have the physical strength.
Exactly. But then I thought of grabbing it, by the knee or by the hoof, and couldn't do it. I felt bad for the little fella.
Were you able to tip any of the Fijis that you had to dance for before?
Yes. I was successful at Fiji tipping. Thank you.
Upstream-ideas.com. That's what I was talking about. Our digital platform, original content, our Against the Current series, long-form interviews with policy leaders and opinion makers. Illinois Rising podcast, state policy and politics focused show that airs on these airwaves Sundays at 3 p.m. Heart of the Matter, featuring professional women speaking colleague to colleague about the important issues of the day and the impact on families. My 60 Seconds of Sanity, weekly commentaries, Pat Hughes's reviews via 2-minute warnings, as well as dollars and cents commentaries, and Follow the Logic Man on the Street segments. You can find it all at upstream-ideas.com.
The same banking team you already know and trust at the private bank has come together with one of the strongest banks in North America. And we have a new name. The private bank is now CIBC. We share the same focus on building strong client relationships, and we're now backed by a bank with over 150 years of experience in putting clients first. Our name may have changed, but our commitment to helping your business grow is now stronger than ever. Visit us at CIBC.com/US. Member FDIC.
We're clearing out summer inventory at the Yellow Tag clearance sale at Lumber Liquidators. Take 20% off Woodlook waterproof floors with coupon, like top-rated Avella Woodlook tile and Click ceramic plank. Get 10 to 23% off all Dream Home X2O water-resistant laminate and 10% off all Builder's Pride and Virginia Millworks pre-finished hardwood. More from 39 cents and take an extra 10% off clearance at your local store. Plus special financing. Look for the Yellow Tag clearance deals at Lumber Liquidators today.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Ann B. Davis's bowling ball texting, we made our pledges consume scotch aged less than 20 years during Hell Week. That is inhumane. That is, you're a thug, Ann B. Davis's bowling ball. That's just a terrible story. After your choice of spouse, where you send your kids to school is the most important decision you make. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Northridge Preparatory School, an independent Catholic school for boys, grades 6 through 12. No brainwashing that's prevalent elsewhere. Northridge Prep instills the traditional values that you hold as parents. Northridge Prep is all boys with an all-male faculty. They celebrate your son's natural enthusiasm. It's a good place to be a boy. I'm impressed by the men who teach there, who I've met. These are deep thinkers, accomplished academics, actually people accomplished in business, too. The headmaster was in the private sector before he found Northridge Prep as a calling. They're great role models who get to the hearts of their students. Their demanding liberal arts curriculum produces well-rounded men with the ability to think for themselves. Northridge Prep grads go on to the best universities, including the Ivy League, have top athletics and arts programs, and are ranked the #1 best all-boys school in Illinois and a top 100 high school in America, according to U.S. News. I strongly encourage you to attend Northridge Prep's open house on October 22nd. To learn more about that October 22nd open house, visit northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
Life should be an adventure, and so should your health. It's another can't-miss Health Quest radio show this Saturday morning. Dr. David Kolbaba.
You're eating too much food. You get it? We're eating too much food, and whether eating too much food causes kidney stones or diabetes or obesity, it don't matter. We're eating about 75% too much food because you're not moving your body. If you moved your body more, you could eat more, but you're not, so don't.
Create your adventure in health. Tune into Health Quest Radio every Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you satisfied that your business is being seen effectively online? Call 866-SEEN-360. That's 866-SEEN-360 and discover how you can capture a larger share of traffic, leads, and sales from your online advertising. Call 866-SEEN-360 for a proven system to market your business online that includes unique reporting that tracks and confirms that you're being seen. Call today and talk to a digital expert who can provide your business with a comprehensive strategy. That's 866-SEEN-360.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter makes it simple for growing businesses of all sizes to hire the right people, no matter the industry. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you the results you need. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Cliff May, president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, about Trump's ass-kicking speech before the UN on 7:07.
And later, an armed robber sues the man who stopped him. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Governor Rauner signs a new civil forfeiture law. Former Bear Peanut Tillman training to join the FBI. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
Puerto Rico is getting pummeled.
I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. Hurricane Maria hitting the island with Category 4 force.
We are seeing large concrete hotels in the capital simply being torn apart minute by minute. We've seen large pieces of the sidewalls come out. We've seen balconies go flying, trees snapped in half. They warned the winds here could be 120 to 160 miles per hour over the next couple of hours, and their worst fear is really coming true so far.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in San Juan getting a direct hit now. People in low-lying areas were told to evacuate or risk death. The already Irma-damaged Virgin Islands also got hit overnight when Maria was a Category 5. They're listening to sounds of survivors and hoping the earthquake rubble in and around Mexico City.
Horrible. Frighteningly horrible.
Homes and buildings collapsed. So did schools. The bodies of 21 kids were pulled out of one among the at least 217 people killed in the quake. It's like last September. President Trump tweets a shot at Hillary Clinton after she was critical of him and his UN speech that included the threat to destroy North Korea. Fox's Tanya J. Powers, live in New York.
His second tweet of the morning was aimed at the former Secretary of State, saying when she had that job, Clinton, quote, allowed North Korea to research and build nukes. She was on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night on CBS and said instead of calling Kim Jong-un Rocket Man, the president should have taken a different tone.
But you should lead with diplomacy. You should lead with the commitment to trying to avoid conflict however you can.
She also called his speech dark and dangerous, Dave.
Now, Tanya, the president also tweeted big day of meetings at the UN. America first. He'll sit down with Jordan's king, the Palestinian leader, and the Egyptian president and Britain's prime minister. There were 30 more home runs hit in baseball last night, setting a new record. The 5,707 this season breaks the mark back in 2000. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Skies are clearing this morning. Some of that fog is beginning to burn off. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The National Weather Service has a dense fog advisory up until 9 a.m. 5 Wheaton College football players accused of hazing a teammate are suspended from the team. The suspects have been charged with aggravated battery, mob action, and unlawful restraint. Now at least 2 of the players have turned themselves in to begin conversations with police. The FBI says a fugitive ex-Chicago police sergeant who's been on the run for nearly 15 years is now in custody in Detroit. Eddie Hicks has granted extradition to Illinois during an appearance before a magistrate judge, Stephen Whalen. Hicks was wanted for allegedly posing as a federal agent with several other men and extorting drug dealers for cash and drugs. He retired from the Chicago Police Department under a cloud in 2000. Governor Rauner approving a bill that would change the rules for when police can seize the assets of suspected criminals. AM 560's David Stewart has more.
Currently, the government can seize cash or property that's believed to have been used in committing a crime, and it's up to the owner to prove their innocence to get it back. Governor Rauner says his signature will change that.
This bill puts the requirement on law enforcement to have proof, reasonable preponderance of the evidence that some asset was used in criminal behavior.
The new law also requires the state police to set up a database listing all property that's been seized under the asset forfeiture laws. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Longtime Bear cornerback Charles Peanut Tillman has a new career path. Sources say Tillman is training to become an FBI agent. 36-year-old Tillman, who does have a criminal justice degree, retired after 13 NFL seasons, but now must complete academy training before he turns 37. Cubs ran their winning streak to 7 games with a 2-1 win over the Rays. Sox suffer a 3-1 loss to the Astros. Blackhawks open preseason play with a 5-2 dusting of the Blue Jackets in Columbus. The news service of Staples. Staples has deals on laptops and tech services to help your business, like data recovery and virus protection. Now get an HP Pavilion with Intel Core i5 processor for $469.99, a $170 savings. Ends 9/23/17. Staples, it's pro time. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Are you satisfied that your business is being seen effectively online? Call 866-SEEN-360. That's 866-SEEN-360 and discover how you can capture a larger share of traffic, leads, and sales from your online advertising. Call 866-SEEN-360 for a proven system to market your business online that includes unique reporting that tracks and confirms that you're being seen. Call today and talk to a digital expert who can provide your business with a comprehensive strategy. That's 866-SEEN-360.
Chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing. Steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called the Smart Sinus Procedure.
I felt better right away. Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if the Smart Sinus Procedure is right for you. It's covered by Medicare and most insurance. Set an appointment today with Smart Sinus. And with your deductibles met, now may be the best time to call. Call 847-873-8776. 847-873-8776. That's 847-873-8776.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. If you're in the market to buy a home right now, you know how challenging it is out there. You're competing against cash buyers, so it's critical that you work with a reputable, established mortgage company like Quicken Loans. By getting pre-approved with us, sellers will know that you're serious and ready to close when you make that offer. Here's one more way to get the home you want. You could buy a $150,000 home with as little as $1,500 down with our 1% down payment option. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%, APR 4.52%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
7:07 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound 8-inch delays are from Church Street to Montrose. It's 35 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 27th at Kennedy. Already an hour. O'Hare to downtown, still all the way in. 25 minutes from Montrose, 24 in the Express, outbound 53 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 52 minutes from Manheim, outbound 44 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 22 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, an hour and 5 minutes from the Tri-State, outbound 59 minutes to 355. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 35 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Mission 425. Lakeshore Drive still okay. Northbound Tri-State, heavy from the Calsag Bridge to Cicero, 111th to LaGrange Road, Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, then from 31st to the Cermak Toll where there was a crash, and from the Reagan Toll into North Avenue. Adams and Reagan Tollways are okay. Northbound Veterans Memorial, see mild delays from before Butterfield to Roosevelt and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Patchy morning fog, otherwise clouds and sun today, high 89, then a partly cloudy night, humid with a low 70. Tomorrow, warm and humid with sun and patchy clouds, high 89. Partly cloudy, warm and humid tomorrow night, low 72. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Partly sunny skies, 67 degrees. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit BeingSeen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. BeingSeen360.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So President Trump, before the UN General Assembly yesterday, covered a lot of ground. North Korea, Iran, radical Islamic terrorism, which he called radical Islamic terrorism. He also offered thanks to Jordan, Turkey, Lebanon for their role in hosting refugees from the Syrian conflict, which was a nice touch. But I tell you, my favorite part was him taking on Venezuelan socialism.
Wherever true socialism or communism has been adopted, it has delivered anguish and devastation and failure. Those who preach the tenets of these discredited ideologies only contribute to the continued suffering of the people who live under these cruel systems. America stands with every person living under a brutal regime. Our respect for sovereignty is also a call for action. All people deserve a government that cares for their safety, their interests, and their well-being, including their prosperity.
I'll tell you, he essentially went on to say, socialism has not been poorly implemented in Venezuela. It's been faithfully implemented. That's what socialism looks like. Misery is not a bug, it's a feature. And the philosophical attack on socialism, so important, and so important for the West to hear it from an American president. I mean, it wasn't exactly Churchill's socialism, the philosophy of failure, creed of ignorance, gospel of envy, and its inherent virtue is the equal sharing of misery, but it was pretty close.
And the headline that everyone's taking, that's making all the headlines is Trump threatening to totally destroy North Korea.
The United States has great strength and patience, but if it is forced to defend itself or its allies, we will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself and for his regime.
And I thought the musical interlude was something nice. You don't get that with a lot of UN General Assembly speeches. So I thought that kind of broke up the speech nice, and a lot of people reflect on what he had said prior to the Elton John rendition. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Cliff May. He is the president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you guys.
So your assessment of the president's speech before the UN?
I think it was a very good speech. I think you hit some of the highlights, certainly. In that hall, among those representatives, what he had to say about socialism couldn't have been pleasing because so many of those countries have taken what they call the socialist path to development, which means they're not developing.
Yes.
and I think, it is necessary probably at this point that Kim Jong-un hear that kind of statement from President Trump so he at least begins to consider whether he may have been poking at a hornet's nest too hard and maybe bringing destruction to himself and to anybody else he cares about. I'm not sure there are many people he cares about.
And there's no word yet this morning from a reaction from Pyongyang, but you do truly think that he will heed this warning? This is a different kind of rhetorical threat from President Trump?
No, I don't. And I wouldn't predict his behavior. I do think that it is useful that President Trump is taking this threat seriously. We have allowed this threat to mature for many, many years, and that's been a mistake. Don't forget, it goes back to 1994, at least, when President Clinton concluded the agreed framework, the North Korea nuclear deal. President Clinton said because of this deal, North Korea will never have nuclear weapons. Of course, they do have nuclear weapons, and they have missiles that they are refining, missiles that will be able to deliver its weapons to targets pretty much anywhere in the world, including anywhere in the United States. Shouldn't have gotten to this place. And now there are no good answers. There are very bad answers, and there are much worse answers, and we're going to have to choose. Those who say, we can live with a nuclear-armed North Korea threatening us, haven't thought the proposition through. There's the possibility of blackmail. Imagine Kim saying, look, it's because of you guys that my people are poor. I need $100 million a month. If I don't get it, I'll launch my rockets. He could also give them to terrorists. And if Kim Jong-un can have nuclear weapons and intercontinental ballistic missiles, almost any country can and will. And so in 20 years, the number of countries having them could be enormous, and then terrorists get them too, and well, then we're kind of off to the races, aren't we?
The criticism from kind of the bedwetting John Lennon School of Foreign Policy types about the tone of Trump's speech is dark and ominous and threatening and so forth. And also, of course, because he got America first in there and he talked about national sovereignty. This is something that the Communist Party Secretary of China would say. This is something that Vlad Putin would say. Isn't this a false choice that is being presented by critics of Trump and of American American exceptionalism generally, where they say it's one of two things: you either can exert your sovereignty or you can collaborate in the community of nations. You can't do both. Isn't that a false choice?
Yeah, maybe a couple of points. One is, look, his speech was plain spoken. It was a speech written for him, written with him. And it expressed ideas the way he likes to express ideas, and I have no problem for it. Everything was very clear. I think the point on sovereignty is important to understand. We had, for the past 8 years, President Obama, who is what we call a transnational progressive. He and others like him believe that over time the UN should become a sort of global government, a parliament of nations, and that it already is the supreme arbiter of international law and legitimacy. If you are an anti-globalist, an anti-one-worlder, if you're President Trump, you don't believe that at all. You say, look, I believe that America is a sovereign nation, and I believe you all represent sovereign nations. And sovereign nations can come together, and where there are shared interests or shared values, we can take collective action. But the United States, most Americans will not ever see the United Nations or any other transnational organization as some kind of global government that should tell them what to do. And I think it does so too much already. There are 193 members in this organization. We pay more to keep it going than 183 of them combined. And essentially how much we pay, a lot of it, is assessed. Essentially we're taxed by the General Assembly, by nations that don't pay. So he is talking about sovereignty. I thought he did a good job of explaining what America First means. Is that every nation considers its people first, and we do too. But that doesn't mean we can't find shared interests and shared values. And when we do, we can work together. And by the way, he also talked about UN reform. It's a subject I care about a lot. I don't think it's likely, but I think there's a window of opportunity that we could have it, and it's desperately needed because this organization is corrupt, it's mismanaged, and it's guilty of gross misconduct in many ways.
Well, and when he says, we consider our people first, and just as other countries, he's not describing what should be. He's describing what is. That's what's so silly about the criticism. Of course, that's how the world actually is. That's how the dynamics between countries actually work. So this is nothing that should be in controversy.
And he gave a label to it. He called it principled realism. And if you think about it, this is a speech that will not please globalists on the left, but it will not please isolationists on the right either. He kind of slalomed through that course.
So do you think, what kind of reforms would you like to see at the UN, and do you think we're getting our money's worth?
We're not getting our money's worth. I think there's no question about it. I would start with this. If you understand how much corruption and waste and mismanagement and gross misconduct is, then you know that in order to do anything about it, you need what would effectively be an inspector general, a very empowered auditor who would have the ability to demand financial documents from any part of the UN. If he doesn't get them, he cuts off money to that agency. That individual needs to be somebody absolutely independent. It can't be somebody from some third world government that is already corrupt and that can be pressured by various groups. It really should be an American. It really should be picked by the American president, given the fact that we disproportionately fund this organization. But it could be a Canadian, possibly, or a Brit, or maybe even a German.
Don't let the Canadians in the tent. Come on.
I'm just pandering to Canadians, as I often do. But it has to be somebody totally independent, very skilled, very tough, who can say, I'm not getting the information I need from UNESCO, and UNESCO doesn't get any more until I do. This is not a transparent organization. We don't even really know exactly how much the U.S. contributes. We should be figuring that out. It's between $8 and $10 billion a year. Right now, it's a third world bureaucracy with first world funding, and that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, and your point about preventing another oil for food scandal, multi-billion-dollar scandal
Oil
that
for
was.
food scandal is a good example. $21 billion that went to corrupt diplomats and dishonest businessmen and others instead of to hungry Iraqis. You've had the UN peacekeepers in Central Africa and other places sexually abusing girls and women, with the U.S. picking up the tab. You had UN personnel in Haiti spreading cholera because they were so badly managed. About 10,000 people died from that. I could go on, and people don't know these things because it's hardly reported. Those who report on the UN are very careful not to offend the UN because they'll get cut out. So unless you work hard at it, you don't even know what's going on there.
Now, there's one thing. There's a difference, I should say, between a great speech and a great framework that's laid out rhetorically, and then great policy implementation. David French over at National Review takes issue with Trump's speech, saying Donald Trump's speech and a Barack Obama foreign policy. Trump has recertified the Iran deal, wrapped both arms around the Sauds, pursued only a slightly more muscular version of the military offensive begun by Obama in Iraq and Syria, not provided enough troops to slightly improve conditions on the ground in Afghanistan, but not enough to turn the tide, reaffirmed commitments to NATO, failed to initiate any real change in American relations with Russia and China. So on the merits, David French argues Trump really hasn't moved the needle. You agree with that?
Well, I think David French is right to an extent that I think the changes that President Trump is likely to make have only just begun. He's not that far into it. He could be further along than he is. Haven't filled a lot of posts in the government. There are a lot of things to do. I think the rhetoric is a necessary first step, but he's right. Unless that's followed up by action, it doesn't mean much. So in terms of UN reform, I'm hopeful, but I'm not at all confident. In terms of Iran, I think you want to watch this space. I think within like October 15th, call me again. I'd be surprised if there isn't movement. You heard very clearly from President Trump, I think, and from Secretary of State Tillerson, that President Trump absolutely understands that the Iran deal is a bad deal, that it provides Iran with a pathway to nuclear weapons, even if it remains what it is now, the leading state sponsor of terrorism. I think there will be changes. I know in the White House there is discussion of how radical the changes should be and what they should do. So he's right that all this hasn't happened yet. I have a column out today in the Washington Times I commend to you. It suggests that we have been assisting Iran's imperial ambitions, and we mustn't do so again in Syria. I'm not confident that the administration gets that and will do what's necessary. But again, I'm hopeful. I think they may at least recognize the dilemma and realize they have to do something about it. So rhetoric is where you start, but if that's where you finish, you got nothing done.
All right, I put a note to call you on October 15th. Cliff May, president of the Foundation for Defensive Democracies. Cliff, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, we can't make this stuff up. 45 Magnum PI impersonators were ejected from a Tigers game. We'll tell you why.
And how many Higgins got to stay.
But first, here's your forecast. Temperatures near the record high of 91 degrees today. That'd be shattering a record set back in 1931. And we're going to have a string of hot days in the 90s that'll last through the weekend. Now let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Jim Telemonte, anything hot on the roadways?
Oh, we got some problems on I-80 westbound, Amy and Dan. It's slow from LaGrange Road to Wolf. That's due to some tire debris in the roadway. So caution there. The eastbound side is looking good, and it's pretty heavy on the Chicago expressways now. The Kennedy, with delays all the way in from O'Hare, runs an hour from the airport to downtown. 25 minutes from Montrose, 24 in the express. Outbound 53 minutes from downtown to O'Hare. There are a few flight delays, not many due to the fog. Midway, though, has a few cancellations. Edens, 35 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 27. Eisenhower, An hour and 8 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 44 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 52 minutes. The Ryan, looking at 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Quicker in the locals, got a crash in the express at 35th. 2 left lanes blocked. Big jam. Tri-State, delays are northbound. In pockets from the Calsag Bridge to the Cermak Toll, that is a long stretch. Also Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Gentlemen, when it comes to your health, you know your numbers. You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone and prostate numbers? I know mine. Low T Center made it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, I was able to get my results in minutes. And in honor of Prostate Health Month, Low T Center is offering a $50 testosterone and prostate level test. That's in September. So, gentlemen, if you don't know your numbers, haven't met your deductible, or don't have insurance, you should take advantage of this limited time offer. I know at Low T Center, they'll take great care of you. Plus, it's quick, easy, and you'll get your results in just about 20 minutes. So do yourself a favor and call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. The number again, 312-239-3427. Call them now or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh, I had my joints all ached. My sciatic nerve was really bad. Like 10 hours, my eyes were so tired and heavy and almost burning. And then when I woke up in the morning, there was this nagging pain. I mean, it hurt to open them. And just in a week, like, I don't have the nagging pain anymore. My joints stopped hurting, and I'm in wood season. I'm lugging wood right now, and I'm not hurting. So that's, like, amazing for me. I'm usually really suffering. It's pretty effective. And so now, like I said, my husband and I are both taking it, and he even said his joints aren't aching as much, and he's feeling better.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
This is an important message for Chicagoland business owners. If you own or rent your building, chances are you're paying more than your fair share of property taxes. Ask yourself this question. If you could lower your property taxes with the help of licensed professionals who have an 80% average success rate, yes, you heard that right, an 80% success rate, lowering business owners' property taxes, would you do that? Corporate Valuation Advisors has reduced their clients' property taxes on average 20% over their 25-year service history throughout the greater Chicagoland area. Here's a Corporate Valuation Advisor's recent property tax savings success story from a local Chicago business owner. First-year property tax savings, $26,265. Total 4-year property tax savings of $104,679. Call Corporate Valuation Advisors. They can help at 833-FAIR-TAX. That's 833-FAIR-TAX. You can also find them at yourfairtax.com or by visiting am560theanswer.com and looking for the Corporate Valuation Advisors banner, or type in Fair Tax in the search area.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great show. I
Did
love
you?
Magnum PI.
Did you? I love Tom Selleck. And a lot of the times he wore
because of the short shorts.
Yeah, but besides the short shorts, he'd wear a Hawaiian shirt with a Tigers cap on. So this guy who lives in Allen Park, that's a suburb of Detroit, was getting married. He decided to have his bachelor party at Comerica Park, and 45 of his men dressed up as Thomas Magnum, and they had the short shorts on and the baseball caps, and they even had a cardboard cutout.
Did they
of
all
Magnum
drive GOA
PI.
3TS Ferraris to the game?
No, they took a bus, but they had this Magnum PI cutout. And according to Tigers security, they were catcalling and disrupting the game, so they kicked them all out, all 45. You have got to see the video.
That's what you do at a baseball game.
Of them escorting all these 45 Magnum PI Tom Selleck lookalikes out of the ballpark. They're asking the Tigers to reimburse them with tickets for next season, so that, and they also want them to invite Tom Selleck, who's a real Tigers fan, to come to the game.
Yeah.
But the
Mr. 3000, right?
The spokesman for the Tigers said it was inappropriate behavior. The group was given multiple warnings. They have violated the code of conduct and were asked to leave and have not been banned from the park. They just kicked them out of the game But I guess the Tigers were playing the White Sox, and apparently they were taking attention away from the Tigers, who lost 10-4, by the way. So
yeah, White Sox just 3 wins away from not losing 100 games this year, so can watch into the end of the season. Remember, do you know the name of the estate on which Thomas Magnum, if we're going to be technical.
Thomas Magnum's estate?
No, Thomas Magnum's estate in Magnum PI, where he stayed. What was the name of it? Come on.
You know, I don't know, but I know that you know. So
you said you said you watched Magnum PI.
I watched for the aesthetics. I didn't learn about the name of his estate, but I know that you know the answer. So what's the name?
Robin's Nest. Because it was named after, it's Robin Masters is the estate owner. You never see him, though.
Actually, you do.
You do? I don't remember ever seeing Robin Masters.
Well, Robin
Like you never
Masters
see
turned out to be who? Turned out to be Higgins.
Oh, well, yeah, right. Okay, yes, right. Yes.
Oh, we're going
Higgins.
deep
And all
here.
the Higginses got to stay at Comerica Park, and that wasn't fair. By the way, is that where you developed your mustache fetish, watching Magnum PI, that led you to make out with Edward James Olmos?
Yes.
I'm just asking. I was kind of just trying. You want to find the foundation for these pathologies.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Are we reinflating the housing bubble with Fannie and Freddie? We'll ask Steve more of that and get an update on tax reform at 7:37.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Mustache-wearing Mike Scott.
Yeah.
What do you got going there? Goatee? What do you have going there?
I haven't shaved in a couple of days look going here. That's what's going here. Sunshine and 67 degrees. Foggy conditions in some spots this morning. National Weather Service issues that dense fog advisory until around 9 a.m. for Lake and McHenry counties. The eye of Hurricane Maria is over eastern Puerto Rico this morning, buffeting the island with 150-mile-an-hour winds, tearing down high-rises. Top wind speed has dropped slightly this morning. The National Hurricane Center says Maria remains an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm. Rescuers in central Mexico beginning today doing the same thing they did all night, desperately searching for survivors in the rubble of yesterday's massive earthquake. The magnitude 7.1 quake killed over 200. 40 buildings collapsed, including a school where 24 children's bodies have been found. Chicago area Congressman Luis Gutierrez, part of a group of demonstrators arrested outside of Trump Tower in New York. Chicago Democrat took part in a rally over DACA. 5 Wheaton College football players accused of violently hazing a teammate last year, suspended from the team. Suspects have been charged with aggravated battery, mob action, and unlawful restraint. Now at least 2 of the players have turned themselves in. The FBI says a fugitive ex-Chicago police sergeant who's been on the run for nearly 15 years is now in custody in Detroit. Eddie Hicks agreed to extradition to Illinois during an appearance before a magistrate judge yesterday. Hicks is wanted for allegedly posing as a federal agent with several other men while extorting drug dealers for cash and drugs. He had retired under a cloud from the Chicago Police Department in the year 2000. Chicago sports, Cubs ran their winning streak to 7 games with a 2-1 win over the Rays, while the White Sox suffered a 3-1 loss to the Astros in the opener of a 3-game set in Houston. Former head coach Doug Collins returning to the Bulls as a senior advisor, and the Blackhawks open preseason play with a 5-2 win over the Blue Jackets in Columbus. The news, a service of Staples. Staples helps your business create color presentations for less. Now get 20% back in Staples rewards on color copies, manuals, and presentations that are designed to impress. Staples, it's pro time. Offer ends 11/4/17. Exclusions apply. Go to staples.com/20color for more. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
As the head of procurement for my company, I was sweating a big deadline and got tired of calling my printer for updates, only to hear excuses. So I heard about McGrath Printing Custom Apparel and gave them a call. I got A+ service and they beat the deadline. McGrath Printing really saved my...
I'm a supply chain manager for a Fortune 500 company, and we had $50,000 of product waiting for instruction manuals because our printer couldn't deliver on time. One call to McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, and they saved my...
At McGrath Printing Custom Apparel, they've been saving companies
for over 35 years. Give them a call at 815-356-5246. That's 815-356-5246. And mention code AM560 and get 20% off your first order. So remember,
Go to where the pros go. McGrathPrint.com. McGrathPrint.com.
Depression. You need to make it go away. Cure or remission is here. The revolutionary treatment of TMS.
800-604-0208.
TMS therapy is drug-free and non-invasive. Here's how it works. There are areas of the brain that control mood. If you suffer from depression, research has found these areas to be underactive. TMS therapy uses safe, small magnetic fields, similar to those used in an MRI. They stimulate and activate these mood centers, causing long-term, medication-free relief. HBR centers in Chicagoland and Wisconsin offer TMS. End the frustration with life and relationships.
It's FDA cleared and it is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare.
Dangerous drugs and other treatments just mask the depression. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation.
800-604-0208.
HBR centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
7:35. Let's get an update on the morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Like the inbound Edens is running 37 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 33. The Kennedy, an hour O'Hare to downtown, outbound 34 minutes to Montrose, but an hour and 6 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour and 18 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 49 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 12 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 52 minutes. The Rhine is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Much heavier on the Express. Traffic is jammed in the Express, 47th to 35th. The crash in the two left lanes. I-57, 40 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 32. Northbound Tri-State, it's gummed up from the Calsag Bridge to Cicero. 115th up to the Cermak Toll and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Reagan Tollway to delay Randall to Washington. Veterans Memorial from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and from St. Charles up to 290. Traffic is service of Napa Auto Parts. For more than 90 years, Napa Auto Parts has provided the quality parts and expertise to help you keep almost anything on the road. And now, with Napa Rewards, you can save money on all the parts you need to keep your car running. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Temperatures near the record of 91 later today. Warm and humid overnight. Low 69, and another hot and humid day tomorrow with a high near 90. Currently 68. Next news coming up at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Wine Time Radio. Every Saturday at 5 p.m. on AM 560, explore the wonderful world of wine with host James Crooker and Rob Lehner.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and we got a lot to talk about. The last-ditch effort to repeal and replace Obamacare, I think, is generous, but the Graham-Cassidy bill, and then you got tax reform. And then you got this bubbling up to the surface before it pops. Two pieces out this week about Fannie and Freddie, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, those public-private partnerships of sorts, these quasi-government agencies that melted down to precipitate the Great Recession. Did we do anything to reform those institutions so we don't have a repeat of that? No. 9 years after the crisis, Fannie and Freddie remain unfixed. Taxpayers are guaranteeing more mortgage debt today than they were in 2008. Over at Forbes, James Carr writing about Mel Watt, the director of the Federal Housing Finance Authority, announcing that the two mortgage giants, Fannie and Freddie, could require federal bailout of as much as $100 billion in the event of an economic downturn. In fact, argues Carr, Forbes contributor, a bailout of these institutions is inevitable as early as next year, if not sooner. So what is happening? And boy, tax reform, the positive impact of tax reform as it pertains to growth would certainly be blunted if we have another real estate bubble burst, wouldn't it? We put that question to our friend Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, senior economist for CNN, Heritage Foundation. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. How are you? By the way, not only is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac back with these massive portfolios of mortgage guarantees, but even worse is that a large percentage of those mortgages are 2, 3, 4, 5% down payment loans. Now, we should have learned from what happened in 2006 and 7 and 8 that the 90% of the mortgages that failed were mortgages that had very low down payments, where people didn't have any skin in the game, where if the house declined by 10% or 15% in value, then you have negative equity in the home, and people would just walk away from the house. Now, we have the bottom line here, I mean, it's so frustrating. We have learned nothing from what happened in 2007 and 8. We're right back doing exactly what caused the crisis. My friend Jeb Hensarling in the House, Dan, has had a bill now for, 5, 6, 7 years to try to privatize Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, get rid of the federal guarantees so that the taxpayers are not at risk of, what did you say, $100 billion? Was that the number
$100 billion, yeah.
$100 billion of losses. By the way, just want to, you got my blood boiling now this morning. The number one institution that needed a bailout during the financial crisis was not Lehman Brothers or or AIG. It was Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and we're still doing the same things again. That is the stupidest thing I ever heard.
So people that don't know, I mean, Fannie and Freddie, they don't make loans, but they buy mortgages from banks.
Right. Yeah. So what they do is it's very simple. I'll put it there. This is a bit of an oversimplification, but not much. Basically, what happens, the bank makes a mortgage, and then they sell the mortgage to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which essentially gives 100% taxpayer guarantee that mortgage will be repaid. So if the home buyer doesn't pay the mortgage, the taxpayer does. And so what was happening in 1985 and 86 and 87 and 88, you just had to walk into a loan office, and it didn't matter whether you had an income, what your credit score was. They would make the loan to you. They'd immediately turn that loan over to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So all of the actuarial soundness of the loans was blown out the window. But they're back doing the same thing again. Now, here's the solution. I'm going to give you a solution to making sure we never have a financial crisis in housing like we had in 2007-8. It's very simple. Every single loan in America, especially any loan that's guaranteed by FHA or Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, should have a 10 or 15% down payment. And if you have a 10 or 15% down payment, very, very, very few of those mortgages ever go into default.
Yeah, the moral hazards and the government's role in the Great Recession, not exactly covered effectively by Michael Lewis in The Big Short, which is, the popular version of how things went down in the run-up to the recession.
Well, Dan, one of the big villains, there are a lot of villains in this story, and some in the private sector for sure, but two of the biggest villains in the whole story were Barney Frank and Chris Dodd.
Yeah, right.
Barney Frank was the one. You can look this up, folks. About a year before the financial crisis, said, I want to roll the dice on the housing market. And boy, did he roll the dice on it. And the numbers came up cat size. And then the other one, of course, was Chris Dodd, who got a bribe loan from Countrywide. Remember that one, Dan? He got essentially, they didn't call it bribe, but that's what it was.
Special mortgage.
Yeah, and because he's a special person, right?
Correct. Very special.
Sweetheart deal. And then, of course, he turned a blind eye to all the bad behavior of these banks. So, and the irony of that whole story, ladies and gentlemen, is that who were the two people that we turned to solve the financial crisis? Barney Frank and Chris Dodd. Only in Washington would you have the arsonist put out the fire.
Yeah, exactly. And, oh, by the way, One current Chicago mayor, Tiny Dancer, was on the board of Freddie Mac for a time.
Oh.
So the lessons he learned there, he's now applying to Chicago with similar effect. I'll tell you, there's a great...
Well, I'll tell you another story, guys.
Okay.
Just one quick other thing about this. I mean, and this is true of Republicans or Democrats. What happens in Washington, this is the swamp, right? You come, you work as head of the Department of Labor or HHS or the HUD or something like that. And then what you do? You retire from government and you get a cushy seat on the board of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. You pulled out a couple $1 million a year. And that's how Fannie and Freddie have all their political clout, because they hire everybody in this town. It is exactly what is wrong with this swamp. You get this revolving door of people coming in and out of government. When they leave government, they go over to Fannie and Freddie and get these fat checks.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's an excellent point, and there's a very good book on this. But I'm sure you're familiar with Steve, but for our listeners, Bethany McLean wrote a book, Shaky Ground, examining this just a couple of years ago, and everything she said about where we were a couple of years ago is where we're still at, except worse a couple of years later. She was also the co-author of The Smartest Guys in the Room about Enron, but that's a good book, a good primer on all these topics. Steve, I wanted to transition, get your take on this last-ditch effort to do something on Obamacare. Cassidy and Graham, 15 GOP governors, including conservative reform leaders like Scott Walker, on board for this. Is this a legitimate replace?
Okay, so I got a couple things to say about this. First of all, how many governors did you say?
15.
It's ridiculous. How many Republican governors are there in this country?
30,
I think 36 or 34, 35, 36.
Yeah.
Where are the other Republican governors, for goodness sakes? I mean, this is federalism. This is basically saying we're going to let the states run the program. I'm so disgusted with these Republican governors. All they want is money. Just, no, we don't want to run the program. Just give us more money. I mean, I'm ashamed of these Republican governors. There should be 35 Republican governors, clamoring for this to happen. Now, what this bill would essentially do is turn over control of Medicaid to the states and let them run it, because you know who can't run it? Washington. This is a program whose costs are spiraling out of control. We've got, 72 million people today on Medicaid? I'm going to throw out a radical idea. Why not let states require a work requirement? So if you're going to get free health care from the government and you're able-bodied, guess what? You have to get a job.
No.
It's like you should have to get a job if you're on food stamps.
You're insane, Steve Moore.
One other thing, guys. We did this with welfare, remember? In 1996, with Bill Clinton the president and Republican Congress, Newt Gingrich was speaker. It was one of the most successful social program changes in American history. When we turned it over to the states, you had governors like Tommy Thompson, Wisconsin, who put in work requirements. They put in time limits. We reduced the welfare caseloads by over 50%. We put those people in jobs.
Yeah.
We can do the same thing with Medicaid, and I'm just ashamed that, I think we got a shot at this. I'd say 50-50. We're going to get the 50 votes in the Senate. It's going to change the whole debate.
Well, I think, is Governor Ronner part of this
He is not
conversation? Because, Illinois, do we want to really have Illinois in charge of Medicaid? Handing it all over?
Yes, and we also want to roll back Obamacare expansion of Medicaid. But anyway, I'm sorry, Steve.
Here's what people have to understand about Medicaid. Medicaid is about the stupidest program ever invented, because what it does is it basically says for every dollar that a state spends on Medicaid, the federal government kicks in anywhere from 50 to 70 cents. So states literally have an incentive to waste money. There are a lot of states that are wasting money in Medicaid to balance their budgets, because the more money they waste, the more money they get from Washington. It's the stupidest incentive system. Economics, as Art Laffer taught us, is all about incentives. What this program would do, this Graham Cassidy, it would put the money in a block grant. So here's your check. Spend it wisely. If you go over this amount, we're not going to write you another check. It's like your kids. You don't just give them a bigger and bigger allowance if they spend more money. So it changes the incentives in a very constructive way. And I would love to. It's not a perfect bill. It is not repeal of Obamacare, but it's a vast improvement. And we know, ladies and gentlemen, where the Democrats want to go, because Bernie Sanders told us last week they want a single-payer government-run system.
Right, and look, and at the state level, Illinois may continue to be the bad example on this topic, but every other state shouldn't pay for Illinois' pension to want to have Medicaid for all in this state. We had, I hate to break you some more bad news for you, Steve, about Governor Ronner, but We had him agree to expand daycare coverage for middle-income people. I mean, this is something Rod Blagojevich would
why
have
not?
done.
I mean, you have so much money there in
Yeah,
Illinois.
well,
I mean, there's
exactly.
money in the coffers,
$16 billion in unpaid bills. Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a tragic system. But look, this is the whole point of our federalist system. I mean, it's so ingenious that our founders set up this system. You have 50 states today, and guess what? They compete with each other, and you get it right or you fall behind. And that's why Texas and Tennessee and Florida are taking all the jobs from Illinois and Michigan and California and New York, because those blue states don't get it right. And that learning process, those states do learn from each other, and they eventually do get it right. So. But the one lesson we do know is the one place that cannot run Medicaid in an effective and cost-efficient way is Washington, D.C.
Yeah. And please tell Art Laffer to keep a room in his bunkhouse for me down there in Nashville. Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, Heritage Foundation economist. Steve, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a great week, guys. Take care.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Today, plenty of sunshine and plenty of summer-like heat. That's for sure. We could hit a high of 91 degrees today, shattering a record set back in 1931. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, temperatures all in the low 90s with plenty of sunshine. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. I-80 westbound has delays from Harlem to Wolf. There's some truck tire debris in the roadway. The Kennedy inbound is now an hour and 15 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 43 minutes from Montrose, 41 of the Express. Outbound an hour and 6 minutes to the airport. Edens, 37 minutes. Lake Cook to the Kennedy. Outbound 33. The Eisenhower's an hour and 18 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. An hour and 2 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 49 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 22 minutes, 3:55 to the drive, outbound 52 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown, quicker in the locals than the Express. Southbound Lakeshore Drive now has delays. Bryn Mawr to North Avenue, northbound 18th Drive to Jackson, northbound Tri-State, very heavy from the Calsag Bridge to Cicero, from 115th to the Cermak Toll, and from the Reagan Toll into North Avenue. Veterans Memorial also very heavy northbound. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter makes it simple for growing businesses of all sizes to hire the right people, no matter the industry. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you the results you need. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm 75 years old, and I don't eat enough vegetables or fruit. And this is a great thing to do. And it seems that I have more energy. It seems that I take that, and I take a lot of blood pressure pills and what do you call it, cholesterol. But my doctor tells me, he said, no, you might cut the dosage down on your pills, because what are you taking? I said, Balance of Nature. He said he didn't know what it was, so I told him, I said it's fruits and vegetables condensed into little pill form. He goes, well, whatever it is, it's doing you a lot of good.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Your boy's got breasts. That's how a reporter for Australia's version of 60 Minutes confronted the mother of 12-year-old Patrick Mitchell. Patrick thought he wanted to be a girl, so naturally Patrick's mom rushed out to get him an estrogen prescription. Problem is, Patrick changed his mind. I began to realize I was actually comfortable in my body. Every day I just felt better, said Patrick. It turns out a pre-adolescent child didn't have it all figured out. What a society extols, it begets. According to Gallup, Americans believe approximately 1/4 of the U.S. population is LGBT. That's at least 6 times the actual number of those so identified. The ubiquity of celebrity profiles, characters in movies, TV, theater, and the like of LGBT persons distorts their prevalence in the public's mind. This is not a comment on tolerance or respect, both of which should be afforded every person. Rather, it is a comment on celebrating that which should be concerning, because doing so leads an otherwise loving parent to forfeit their adult judgment and put her 12-year-old in charge of major, life-altering decisions, because doing so leads an otherwise loving parent to hurt their child, as Patrick's mom did.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties. To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text MONEY15 to 99,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text in the next 10 minutes and you'll also receive a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Text MONEY15 to 99,000. That's MONEY15 to 99,000.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his 2 business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We're clearing out summer inventory at the Yellow Tag clearance sale at Lumber Liquidators. Take 20% off Woodlook waterproof floors with coupon, like top-rated Avella Woodlook tile and Click ceramic plank. Get 10 to 23% off all Dream Home X2O water-resistant laminate and 10% off all Builder's Pride and Virginia Millworks pre-finished hardwood. More from 39 cents and take an extra 10% off clearance at your local store, plus special financing. Look for the Yellow Tag clearance deals at Lumber Liquidators today.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing. Steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called the Smart Sinus Procedure.
I felt better right away. Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if the Smart Sinus Procedure is right for you. It's covered by Medicare and most insurance. Set an appointment today with Smart Sinus. And with your deductibles met, now may be the best time to call. Call 847-873-8776. 847-873-8776. That's 847-873-8776.
8776.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had some ulcer issues on my leg that I had from Vietnam. it would erupt on occasion of periods of stress. When I was taking juices, these ulcers had disappeared, but I was not able to get good quality fruits and vegetables to make good juices. And, these ulcers came back. But since I've been taking the fruit and the veggie capsules, these ulcers again have subsided.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Why boys are unmotivated, underachieving, and adrift, and how to get them motivated, achieving, and drift with Dr. Leonard Sachs at 8:08.
And can you believe it? An armed robber sues the man who stopped him. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Wheaton College football players accused of hazing suspended from the team. Sunny start to the day. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
They're in the eye of the storm. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Maria's pounding Puerto Rico, a Category 4 hurricane.
We've been seeing some strong winds well over 100 miles for about 2 hours here.
Fox's Steve Harrigan barely able to stand outside in San Juan.
This is a direct hit, so what it's going to do to power, what it's going to do to water, right now it's causing destruction. It's tearing buildings apart, but the aftermath with 10 to 15 inches of rain, a 10-foot storm surge, and possible mudslides, especially in the interior of the country, that could be the real danger.
Maria also hammered the Irma-damaged Virgin Islands overnight. The search for victims in earthquake rubble continues in and around Mexico City. Homes and buildings and schools collapsed. At least 217 people are dead. Hillary Clinton did not like what President Trump told the UN yesterday, telling the CBS Late Show,
"I thought it was very dark, dangerous."
The president has reacted on Twitter, of course. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
A day after threatening North Korea with annihilation, the president criticized Hillary Clinton on Twitter, writing, "After allowing North Korea to research and build nukes while Secretary of State Bill Clinton also, crooked Hillary now criticizes." The president followed that up with another tweet, writing, "It's the height of hypocrisy. Obama and Clinton, in effect, gave nuclear weapons to North Korea by their policy of appeasement." The president today meets at the UN with his counterparts from Jordan, Egypt, Great Britain, and the Palestinian Authority. Dave?
John, the president also tweeted the latest Senate bill to replace Obamacare is great, but Republican Senator Rand Paul's a no vote.
I can't vote for something that's not really repealed.
The president calls Paul a negative force in fixing health care. Jimmy Kimmel isn't joking around, critical of his senator sponsoring the health care bill.
And this guy, Bill Cassidy, just lied right to my face.
Kimmel on his ABC show says the bill would raise premiums, something he says Cassidy told him wouldn't happen. Kimmel got involved in the debate after his son needed heart surgery right after he was born. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun, 67 degrees. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 5 Wheaton College football players accused of violently hazing a teammate last year suspended now from the team. At least 2 of the players have turned themselves in to area police. One man is dead after he jumped onto the CTA Blue Line tracks on Chicago's near west side. The incident happened last night near the Western Station, the 400 block of Southwestern Avenue. Federal prosecutors are beginning to outline the scope of the fraud and tax case against former Chicago powerhouse attorney and Alderman Ed Verdoliak. New court filings in the years-long case. According to prosecutors, say Verdoliak and a co-defendant received more than $10 million in secret, unearned fees from the Illinois massive $9 billion tobacco settlement, then hid that money from the IRS. A judge has sentenced a Gary man to nearly 200 years in prison for the 2015 slayings of 2 teen brothers and a third person. David Johnson IV's wife, Jerry, was earlier sentenced to 120 years in prison for the murder convictions in the brothers' death. Cubs ran their win streak to 7 games with a 2-1 victory over the Rays. White Sox suffer a 3-1 loss to the Astros. The Blackhawks open up preseason play with a 5-2 win over the Blue Jackets in Columbus. The news service of LifeLock. Equifax recently announced a breach of 143 million identities, and you need to take steps to get protection. Be among the millions who trust their identity theft protection to LifeLock. Go to lifelock.com, promo code RISK for 10% off. Our time is 8:03. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Walmart isn't talking about hiring for the holiday season this year. Instead, the company's offering the extra hours available to current associates rather than hiring thousands of seasonal workers. Walmart's Judith McKenna says it's the same approach they took last year, and they heard great feedback from customers and associates. Walmart's been changing its culture in recent years to improve working conditions, and it's been rewarded with stronger sales. Bed Bath & Beyond sales declined in August. The drop was more than expected, though Bed Bath & Beyond says it's been making changes and that contributed to the decline. Fewer people were signing up for a mortgage during the Labor Day holiday week. Mortgage applications declined more than 9.5% in the week ending September 15th. The Dow was up 39 yesterday to a record. NASDAQ was up 6 and the S&P was up 2. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
We're clearing out summer inventory at the Yellow Tag clearance sale at Lumber Liquidators. Take 20% off Woodlook waterproof floors with coupon, like top-rated Avella Woodlook tile and Click ceramic plank. Get 10 to 23% off all Dream Home X2O water-resistant laminate and 10% off all Builder's Pride and Virginia Millworks pre-finished hardwood. More from 39 cents and take an extra 10% off clearance at your local store. Plus special financing. Look for the Yellow Tag clearance deals at Lumber Liquidators today.
Worry less with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Oh, I'd be a nervous wreck if my daughter just got her license.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually helped me relax a little bit.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, with roadside assistance, Liberty Mutual is there to make sure she won't get stranded. Don't know what I'd do without it.
Sounds better than the alternative.
Which is?
Keeping her home until she's 30.
Visit us online to get a quote. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Optional 24-hour roadside assistance coverage. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.67%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 4th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to quickenloans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
8:07 and a check of your morning commute in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Mike, on the inbound Kennedy, delay start at Canfield. It is an hour and 15 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 43 minutes from Montrose, 41 in the Express, outbound an hour and 6 minutes to O'Hare. Eden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 39. The Eisenhower, an hour and 29 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, an hour and 13 from Manheim, outbound an hour and 4 minutes to Thorndale. Mount Stevenson, an hour and 22 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 46 minutes. Ryan, now with a crash before Roosevelt, the two right lanes, looking at 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 38 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford, 40. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go from the Calsag Bridge to Cicero. From Southwest Highway to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway's okay. Reagan Tollway still Randall to Washington. Veterans Memorial heavy, I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and St. Charles, 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Areas of fog for the morning. Otherwise, today, periods of clouds and sunshine. High 89. Tonight, partly cloudy, very warm and humid with a low of 70. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
67, sunshine at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you sure your business is being seen online? Visit beingseen360.com to discover how being seen online can improve traffic, leads, and sales. beingseen360.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, you have two sons, Peyton and Eli.
I sure do.
Yeah.
12 and 13.
How they doing? They motivated? They achieving? They centered? Focused? Are they killers?
They're straight A students. One's a little motivated to play video games, and the other one does not like technology, is more into the sports, wants to have a ball in his hand.
All right.
I do struggle on Sundays to get them to go to church, but I think every parent has to deal with that. But
I think it has to do with that cult that you go to that you call a church. So it's interesting because this is a big issue, and I got this recommendation from Neil Fagan, who's the headmaster at Northridge Prep.
Oh yeah.
And as a Catholic school kid, I'm conditioned to do whatever a headmaster at a Catholic school says. So he said, "You got to read Boys Adrift by this Dr. Leonard Sachs." Right. So I did. And now I'm saying, per the headmaster at Northridge Prep, don't take my word for it, you have to read it too. We're pleased to be joined by Dr. Sachs. The book, Boys Adrift, The 5 Factors Driving the Growing Epidemic of Unmotivated Boys and Underachieving Young Men. The 5 topic areas: video games, teaching methods, prescription drugs, environmental toxins, and the devaluation of masculinity. We won't be able to get to all of those, but I wanted to start with something that's later on in the book, in a chapter called The Revenge of the Forsaken Gods, where you recount an anecdote that the takeaway is, to be a man, a boy must see a man. And I wonder about the nature and structure of the family with the very high illegitimacy rates across demographics in this country in this day and age, and how much that has to do with the problems with young boys. They don't see men, Dr. Sachs.
Well, it gets complicated. When you look at the data, not every boy raised with a father does better than every boy, does better or worse, for that matter, than boys raised without fathers. One good example is Barack Obama, who was not raised by his father, was raised by a single mom. He has a half-brother who was raised by his father, and his half-brother has had a terrible life and has been in and out of psychiatric institutions and is just a mess because his father was abusive.
Well, sure.
So being raised by an abusive father turns out not to be a good thing. It gets complicated, and there's a lot going on here. When you look across cultures, you find that across Western cultures that boys increasingly are being raised without fathers, but there's tremendous variation from one culture to the next in terms of how boys are doing. So I don't think that the trend away from the two-parent household can explain the increasing disengagement of American boys.
Well, I'm not saying it explains all of it, but but I assume you're not saying that 70% plus illegitimacy rate in the black community, 50% Hispanic, 40% white, the lack of male figures in the lives of young men and children generally, excluding abusive parents, obviously, that is not without impact.
No, for sure. That's part of the story.
So the other part of the story that I wanted to make sure we get of these categories, teaching methods. What's the problem in this topic area with respect to young boys?
Well, I was visiting a high school, and 10th grade English, the assignment was to write about whatever you want. And a boy chose to write about the Battle of Stalingrad, winter of 1942, from the perspective of a Russian soldier. And the Russian soldier's on patrol. He's ambushed by a German soldier, and he fires his rifle at point-blank range into the face of the German soldier, and then describes what happens when you fire your rifle at point-blank range at another man's face. What happens is that the head explodes, and a piece of brain goes one way, a piece of chin goes another way, an eyeball goes another way. This boy was suspended from school, and the parents were told he would not be allowed to return until they had obtained an evaluation by a licensed professional who would have to write a letter on stationery assuring the school that the boy posed no imminent danger to himself or to others. And when the parents shared that story with me, it really struck a chord because I wrote a similar story myself 40 years ago. I was attending public high school outside Cleveland, Ohio, and my English teacher nominated me for a competition, National Council of Teachers of English, and they said, here's a blue book, you have 45 minutes to write a story. And I wrote a story about East German refugees trying to escape to West Germany across the minefield, and one of them steps on a mine which blows off his left leg to the hip and his right leg to the knee, and he's crawling west across the minefield and finally makes it to the border and is picked up by the West German border guards, and he dies. And my own mom died in September 2008, and going through her papers after her death, I found that she had kept the certificate sent to our home by the National Council of Teachers of English, awarding me their highest honor in creative writing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Steve have always written about traumatic amputation and violent death. Boys doing things that boys have always done.
So should
at one another, saying "bang bang, you're dead," writing stories about traumatic amputation and violent death, drawing a picture of a weapon can now get you a discipline referral. And the unintended result is that many boys now regard academic achievement and working really hard to get a better grade as unmasculine. It's not true of all boys, but it's true of a growing proportion of boys.
So I assume Stephen Crane's Red Badge of Courage will have to be removed from high school English classes.
Well, indeed, and I've had just this conversation with school leaders and administrators because they'll say, "Well, we don't want to condone violence, so we don't want boys to write stories where people get killed violently." And I say, "Okay, let me ask you a question. Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, are boys allowed to read War and Peace, or Crime and Punishment,
or the Bible,
or the Brothers Karamazov?
The Bible's pretty violent too.
And indeed, Genesis chapter 4, Cain murders his brother Abel. Are boys allowed to read these books? And if the answer is yes, then my question is, okay, if boys are allowed to read stories of violent death and murder, why are they not allowed to write such stories? What's the explanation there? In fact, we have good evidence that the underlying assumption is that if boys write violent stories, that they are more likely, in fact, to engage in violence. We have very good evidence that that assumption is mistaken. It's simply not true. As long as the violence is in bounds means that the violence is generic and classic. It's intrinsic to that genre of writing. If you're writing a story about Roman gladiators, there will be blood and battle axes and decapitations. But we know that boys who write such stories are not more likely to be agents of actual violence. On the other hand, boys who write stories of personal and threatening violence, if a boy writes a story about bringing a knife to school to stab another boy whom he names, and there is such a boy at the school who's been making fun of him, that's personal, that's threatening, and that boy actually is at increased risk to be an agent of violence. That's unusual. But if teachers care about preventing actual violence, they need to understand that difference. The majority of boys writing violent stories are writing generic, classic stories, World War II, Roman gladiators, and your job is to help that boy to make that story more vivid, more evocative. The rare boy, the unusual boy who's writing stories about bringing weapons to school to kill other students, that's very unusual, but when that happens, that's grounds for urgent intervention.
So how can you help unmotivated boys or, underachieving young men? Is there a solution? Are there suggestions you have?
Well, sure. It depends. First of all, you want to determine which of these factors is in play. Sometimes the problem is that this is a boy who cares more about video games than he does about doing well in school. That's increasingly common in the United States, where more and more boys are now spending 20 hours a week playing video games. And we have very good evidence, which I present, that when boys spend more than 6 hours, when any kid spends more than 6 hours a week playing video games, their school performance suffers, and it's pretty linear. If you spend 20 hours a week, your school performance is going to suffer a lot on average. And when you look at who's spending 20 hours a week playing violent video games like Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, you find that boys outnumber girls by more than 8 to 1. So this is kind of more of a boys' issue than a girls' issue. But parents need to limit, govern, and guide what kids are doing with video games. And yet a lot of American parents have no clue what their son is doing. He's in his bedroom with the door closed, and he has a video game console in the bedroom. So recommendation number one, no screens in the bedroom. That's not just my opinion. That's the official guideline of the American Academy of Pediatrics. No screens in the bedroom, no cell phones in the bedroom, no video game consoles in the bedroom, and no screen time until the chores are done and the homework is done. So, again, that book is full of very practical recommendations based in evidence that I've seen have a real impact. I'm a practicing physician.
Let me take one of the other topic areas, prescription drugs. This is an underreported portion of this. I watched a documentary on this topic recently. Just the ubiquity of ADHD diagnoses and it seems the disposition of school districts and even medical professionals to want to drug the enthusiasm, vibrancy out of kids, boys in particular. Talk to us about prescription drugs and the problem that over-medication of children presents.
Oh, absolutely. So a American boy is 14 times more likely to be on medication for ADHD compared with a British boy. And the United Kingdom is an outlier among European countries. I wrote a book for a French publisher titled Pourquoi les garçons perdent pied, les filles se mettent en danger, about girls and boys in France, using French data in collaboration with French colleagues. And I learned that in all of France, there are fewer than 6,000 kids on medication for attention deficit disorder. There are more kids in Chicago on medication for ADHD than there are in all of France, a nation of 65 million people. Why is this? The diagnosis of ADHD for boys has increased 20-fold since 1979. The proportion of kids who are on medication for ADHD is 20 times higher than it was in 1979. Why did that happen? And how can you tell if your son truly has ADHD? I fought with my publisher on this because they really didn't want me to include these very specific guidelines about how to determine whether your kid has ADHD or not. And my publisher said, are you suggesting that a parent, after reading your book, one book, is qualified to question the judgment of a board-certified child psychiatrist? And I said, absolutely. I said that parent must question the judgment of the child psychiatrist because in the United States, child psychiatrists are about 14 times more likely to make this diagnosis than child psychiatrists outside of North America.
And is this why is that? Is that just the impetus of big business, drug companies influencing doctors and?
Yeah, there's multiple factors going on that are in many ways uniquely American. So, for example, American kids are getting much less sleep than they were getting 20 years ago. Excuse me. That's not true of kids in the United Kingdom. It is true of kids here. And sleep deprivation perfectly mimics attention deficit disorder. This kid is not paying attention in class, and the parents go to the child psychiatrist and says, well, look at the report from the school. He's not paying attention in any class. How about if we try Adderall or Vyvanse and see if it helps? And the medication is tremendously helpful. But the kid's having side effects, so they bring him to me for a second opinion. And I ask the kid, okay, do you have a video game console in your bedroom? Okay, you do. When do you usually get to bed? Around 2 in the morning, and sometimes later, and you try to get up at 6? So you're going to school on 4 hours sleep day after day? What's Adderall? What's Vyvanse? They're amphetamines. They compensate for the sleep deprivation. So, yeah, they're tremendously helpful, but the appropriate remedy for sleep deprivation is sleep, not Schedule II stimulants. And this is pretty well understood outside of North America, I find. And I've met with families across England, Scotland, Australia, New Zealand, where it's really quite unusual to find that kids are allowed to have any device in the bedroom. But in this country, it's very common for kids to have a video game console in the bedroom, a television in the bedroom, a mobile phone in the bedroom. Don't do that.
Well, our mobile phone, though, that's their alarm clock. But now I'm going to have to start changing things at the Jacobson household.
Yeah,
I'm just going to have to get
parents buy an actual alarm clock.
I know.
Yes,
I'm going to have to buy an actual clock.
They still have those. I'll let you borrow my Hawk Harrelson alarm clock. He is Dr. Leonard Sachs. He's a medical doctor, family physician, and psychologist, also a PhD. The book, Boys Adrift, The 5 Factors Driving the Growing Epidemic of Unmotivated Boys and Underachieving Young Men. Dr. Sachs, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've had 10 major surgeries, including 3 brain surgeries. And I have extreme rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and fibromyalgia. And I wanted to let him know that his Balance of Nature have helped boost my immune system so much because I'm on injectable medications for the rheumatoid, and they bring down your immune system. Since I've been taking Balance of Nature, I haven't gotten a cold, nothing. It really helped me tremendously.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today.
That's incomestore.com.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit globalverificationnetwork.com or call 877-695-1179 or visit them online at globalverificationnetwork.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. I want to answer some frequently asked home mortgage questions today. First, how much do I need for a down payment? There are 1% down payment programs currently running, as well as programs that will allow you to get the entire down payment as a gift. We also have programs where a family member can co-sign for the mortgage in order to help the borrower qualify. Do I need perfect credit to qualify for a loan? The answer is no. All these programs have restrictions, so please give me a call at 312-896-2110 and I'll be happy to go over them. Another question is, can I take cash out of my house to pay off high-interest credit card debt? The answer is yes, but you need to have enough equity in your house to make it happen. Why Townstone instead of the big banks? Because since 2002, we pride ourselves on beating the big banks on closing costs and interest rates every day. Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com.
Listen to the Townstone Financial Show Saturdays at 1 p.m. here on AM 560. Townstone Financial is an Indiana, Wisconsin, Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Have an alternative version of the story of those Wheaton College football players in trouble for hazing, in criminal trouble for hazing. We'll review at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Sunshine right now and quite about a heat building for the afternoon. We'll tell you how high in just a moment. President Trump responding to criticism from Hillary Clinton about how he's handling North Korea. Clinton blasting Trump's Tuesday speech at the UN.
But it was very dark, dangerous, not the kind of message that the leader of the greatest nation in the world should be delivering.
Trump fired back at the failed presidential candidate and her husband, former President Bill Clinton, for allowing North Korea to research and build nuclear weapons. Today at the UN, Trump will meet with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. The National Hurricane Center says Maria has landed in Puerto Rico. A hurricane slamming into the southeast section of that U.S. territory this morning, sustained winds of 155 miles an hour. San Juan Mayor Yulin Cruz says her city is still recovering from Irma.
Our electrical system and our power system was weak before, and it was practically shattered.
It's the first Category 4 hurricane to make landfall on the island since 1932. 200 are dead after Mexico was struck by its second major earthquake in 2 weeks.
Some people start shouting, some people start crying, some others start praying. It was like the hardest earthquake I have ever felt.
In Mexico City, the magnitude 7.1 quake toppled over 40 buildings. The FBI says a fugitive ex-Chicago police sergeant who's been on the run for nearly 15 years is now in custody in Detroit. Eddie Hicks had retired from the Chicago Police Department under a cloud in the year 2000. One man is dead after jumping onto the CTA Blue Line tracks on Chicago's near west side. Blue Line service was suspended for a time between Racine and Pulaski. Looks like the office of Illinois Attorney General will not pass from one Democratic family dynasty to another. Alderman Ed Burke says although his daughter Sarah had considered running to replace Lisa Madigan, she has decided against it. Burke indicating that family considerations factored into that decision. Meantime, State Rep Scott Drury is announcing he's dropping out of the race for governor and will instead join what could be a huge Democratic field in the race for Attorney General. Cubs ran their winning streak to 7 games with a 2-1 win. White Sox suffer a 3-1 loss to the Astros. Blackhawks opened preseason play with a 5-2 win over the Blue Jackets in Columbus. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month, Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for $5.59 a quart at any participating Napa Auto Parts store. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. 8:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher gets a bad feeling about the North Korea situation.
My instincts generally serve me pretty well. I'm going to just tell you flat out, I have a very bad feeling about what Kim Jong-un is up to. And it's on him. But I have a bad feeling about this little chubby, weird dictator of North Korea.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text MONEY15 to 99,000. Seating is extremely limited. Text in the next 10 minutes and you'll also receive a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Text MONEY15 to 99,000. That's MONEY15 to 99,000.
8:35, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Like in Lincolnshire, 21 is closed from half day, 22 south to Knightsbridge due to a crash. Edens from Lake Cook to Montrose is 26 minutes, outbound 39. Kennedy, an hour and 8 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 41 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the Express, outbound 46 to O'Hare. Eisenhower, an hour and a half, Thorndale to downtown, an hour 13 from Manheim, outbound an hour and 4 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 41 minutes. Ryan, 37 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive delays are from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Northbound 18th Drive to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State. Stop and go 111th to 47th. That's from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway, okay. Reagan Tollway slow 25 to Mill. Veterans Memorial delays are heavy northbound from I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and St. Charles to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Temps near the record of 91 today. That was set back in 1931. We'll have sunshine throughout the day. Warm and humid conditions overnight. AC will be running with a low of 69 and a high near 90 tomorrow. 69 at O'Hare, 70 along the lakefront. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. The rest of the world today is still attacking Trump for what he said yesterday. We'll talk about it when freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, so we talked about the Wheaton College football players a little earlier in the show, these football players that have been accused of hazing and now accused of criminal conduct.
Yeah, felony warrants were announced. They're asking the players to turn themselves in. 2 of the 5 have done so.
So the question is, do we have the possibility of a Duke lacrosse case here? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. Because there's the Tribune and Sun-Times story, which is the same story. There's the left media story on these matters. And then there's sometimes the whole story. And I've got, from a trusted source, a more complete version of events allegedly, than what is alleged by the Chicago Tribune and the Sun-Times in their coverage. And I can't verify this independently. I'm just going to provide that this is a trusted source who has a lot of detail in the note that was posted, which I will read from.
And we also have the Wheaton police officers, what the Wheaton police are telling us.
Yes. So there's a lot of sources. And, oh, by the way, you'll remember in the Duke lacrosse case, we had a corrupt prosecutor, and we had the academics on the campus of Duke. The overwhelming majority.
Can we start with what the police
I'm not done. Outside of Jay.
Okay.
Don't interrupt me. Let me finish a frickin' statement. In the Duke lacrosse case, you think it's funny?
No, go on.
Yeah. In the Duke lacrosse case, you had...
world, we're living in it. Go on.
Then...
No. Go on. In the Duke lacrosse case, it was awful what happened there. The prosecutor...
Say whatever you want.
No. The prosecutor was wrong. The prosecutor ended up...
You're a child.
Oh, God, Dan. Okay, go on. All right.
Go ahead.
The police. All right, this is what happened in this case. Police said the 5 players dragged a freshman teammate, kicking and screaming from his dorm room, that they tied him with duct tape, left him beaten and half naked with 2 torn shoulders on a baseball field. But what I didn't know is that police responded on that night in question, March 19th, to Central DuPage Hospital at 11:20 p.m. and said the victim was seriously injured. That was back then. Why haven't any of these players been charged? That's what I don't understand. And that's the point of contention that a lot of people have, is that we don't know why it has taken this long and why weren't they charged when they knew about this back on March 19th. The victim has hired an attorney, a very high-priced attorney, Terry Eckel.
We have reason to believe that hazing has taken place with the football team for a number of years. Where's the discipline? Suspension from school, kicked out of school, suspended off the football team, kicked off the football team. None of those things happened.
So what happened? What is your source telling you, Dan?
Oh, is it my turn now? I can speak uninterrupted? Thank you, Ms. Jacobson. I appreciate you yielding the floor. So here's the email that I got that disputes the Tribune and the Sun-Times and the popular Chicago Press Corps version of this. Again, cannot independently verify it, but I'll read the perspective. There's another side to the story that was posted in the Chicago Tribune. The victim has done the same thing at Wabash College before he came to Wheaton College. He transferred from Wabash after accusing the football players there of doing drugs. When that was proved untrue, he transferred to Wheaton. His injuries were from the past, apparently his roommate can attest to that. He had been putting off surgery on both shoulders. What was alleged was not what happened. His account, this person who's providing this information, they put dirt down his pants. Only one of the kid touched him, slapped his stomach. The other, quote-unquote, kidnapped kid with him apparently thought it was hilarious and is still on the team. A few of the Wheaton College female students, who I will not name, drove by the incident and drove these students back to campus. One of the female students said that the victim was really mad, but that was it, and that he had no physical injuries. Twice the allegations were investigated with no action, so this could speak to Wheaton College administration not taking any disciplinary action.
And maybe Wheaton police, too, not doing anything.
The father contacted a state's attorney to take it to a higher court. He wants money, and he doesn't care whose lives he takes down in the process. The 5 football players being accused are good boys, imperfect, young, and foolish, but good. I'm extremely disturbed and angry that the Tribune was allowed to release this article full of fabrication and excluded more information about the victim's background, too. This can potentially destroy these 5 boys' lives and the coach's job, as well as in program at Wheaton College. Students are angry. There's been talk of student protests at either a football practice or a game. There's calls for the coach to resign. And there's, based on what this person is reporting, if this is true, a different and more complicated version of what may have gone on that night, and just who the alleged victim is. I'm not saying that this is the true story. I'm not saying that the victim's version of events is untrue. But we can't verify independently either side of it. And it seems like one account has been given only, and that's the victims.
And here's from another source. Again, these are just another source. That there were 2 players who were hazed that night. One left and went to the police, and the other is still on the team. So, but regardless of what happened, it just seems like there's some type of cover-up possibly going on. I mean, unless there's 2 different sides. I mean, the police said that he was beaten. They left him beaten. That's the police report. And half naked with 2 torn shoulders on the baseball field.
That's the police version.
Right.
That's right. And then you have this version. And so at some point, obviously, the 2 that have turned themselves in and the others that are going to be charged, apparently, are going to have their day in court, and this information will come out. It all didn't come out in the Duke lacrosse case, and I'm not suggesting this is, but you've got a different version of events that's being promoted and that's circulating that has some level of detail. And again, this is a source that I trust that's passing this information on and seems to have access or specific knowledge of specific Wheaton College students who have a different version of events. And these cases, if they go to trial, then, you can expect that if these witnesses exist, they will be deposed and called to testify. And so we'll see. So it's just the kind of initially heaping scorn on Wheaton College, initially heaping scorn on the football program and the kids specifically, and we may have a very different version of what really went down as the truth.
The Wheaton College spokeswoman, she says that their environment is free of hazing and, quote, they practice our values as a Christian community, and that they were deeply troubled by the accusations. But they said that they've had an outside investigator come in and that they've dealt with the issue, resulting in corrective action, but they can't say what that is, Dan, because of their federal student privacy protections.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today and heat. We're going to have a high of 91 degrees, and then we're just going to have the 90s tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No rain in the forecast, but plenty of humid and hot conditions. Now let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Very pleasant man always. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. The inbound Kennedy, it's not so pleasant. Delays start at Austin. An hour and 5 minutes is your travel time. O'Hare to downtown. It's 46 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the Express. Outbound 42 minutes to O'Hare. Edens, just 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound 39. The Ike, an hour and 28 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. An hour and 5 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 42 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 41 minutes. Ryan, 37 minutes from 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, delays are from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. 35 minutes Hollywood to Monroe. Northbound heavy 18th Drive to Jackson. Tri-state delays are northbound 111th to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway sluggish now from Lee to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from 25 to Mill. Veterans Memorial northbound jammed. I-55 to the Reagan Tollway and St. Charles to 290. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter makes it simple for growing businesses of all sizes to hire the right people, no matter the industry. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
We're so confident ZipRecruiter will get you the results you need. We'll let you try it free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing. Steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays. days.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office called the Smart Sinus Procedure.
I felt better right away. Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, headaches? Find out if the Smart Sinus Procedure is right for you. It's covered by Medicare and most insurance. Set an appointment today with Smart Sinus. And with your deductibles met, now may be the best time to call. Call 847-873-8776. 847-873-8776. That's 847-873-8776.
Chicago homeowners, there's never been a better time to permanently fix your low water pressure, rusty water, and pipe leaks by repiping your home today. Repipe Specialist has been serving Chicago for many years, collectively repiping over 35,000 homes in their 25 years in business. They've built a reputation on offering the most efficient repipe process for seamless installation and customer convenience, repiping an entire home in just 1 to 2 days, patching your walls, and providing a lifetime guarantee. Repipe Specialist only uses the best repiping materials with USA Grade L copper or high-quality PEX pipes. For a limited time, take advantage of their most affordable offer. Right now, on approved credit, prices start as low as $99 per month. That's right, a quality home repipe, wall patching, a lifetime guarantee, and prices starting at just $99 per month. They'll provide a free in-home estimate explaining their process tailored for your home. So, call Repipe Specialist today for your free in-home estimate at 800-216-0130. That's 800-216-0130. 800-216-0130.
Hi, I'm Lex Howard, CEO of Balance of Nature. I occasionally take new customer calls, and too often people tell me that they have heard our advertisements for years. If Balance of Nature is not currently being delivered to your doorstep, start now and begin experiencing the benefits of Balance of Nature in your life. Call and see how you can get your free month supply.
I noticed a difference in the first month.
I got rid of most of my other vitamins. I feel pretty good, even though I'm an old guy, 77. I think it's doing great.
I just feel good. I just believe they're really what they say they are.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to find out how to get your free month supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
When you purchase an alarm system, you do it for one reason above all others. You need to know something about the people or property under your care. Knowing that what matters most will be looked after by professionals when you can't be there is a comforting feeling. At Alarm Detection Systems, we've learned a great deal from our decades of service. We know how to treat customers on the phone. We know that installing quality security products using certified technicians is the only way to go. We know that same-day service and local monitoring will provide the safety and peace of mind you're looking for. You no longer have to wonder if your home or business is protected by your alarm system. Know that it is. At home or on the go, the information you seek is right in your hands. It's good to be in the know. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's 630-844-6300 or online at adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
Hey, join AM 560 The Answer for the 37th annual Northwest Suburban Republican Family Picnic taking place this Sunday, September 24th at the Bussey Woods Forest Preserve Grove 27 in beautiful Elk Grove Village. Tickets are just $25 per family in advance. Go to goppicnic.com. Ticket price includes food for the whole family, entrance into the bounce house, face painting, and much more. Visit goppicnic.com for all the details.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call. A borrower called me after contacting the lender who boasts about having the lowest rates and closing costs because he thought my competitors' closing costs were excessively high. I compared loan estimates and the interest rates were identical, but our definitions of low closing costs were a lot different. Fact is, my closing costs were over $1,000 less than the lender claiming to have the lowest closing costs. When purchasing a home, you can either work with the lender who talks and talks and talks and talks about low closing costs, or you can work with me, a lender who actually has low closing costs. Then think of all the things you could do with an extra $1,000 when we originate your loan, like pay for the movers, buy a new computer, new TV, maybe new carpet for your new house. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License T 4358 and MLS 19186.
I hate cleaning my gutters. I kept hearing ads for that gutter guard system, so I thought, why not? I'll get an estimate. I was shocked. I never thought gutter guards could cost so much. Then I heard about Spring Rock gutter guards. The estimate is free, so it made sense to at least compare them. I was shocked again by how much money they saved me. I'm talking thousands, like enough to take my family to Disney World. They take a different approach to gutter protection. A completely closed design keeps all types of debris out of your gutters. Sure, those higher-priced systems may keep the leaves out, but Spring Rock gets the job done at up to half the price with no compromise on quality. Spring Rock also comes with the same lifetime warranty. If the gutter system ever clogs, they will clean it out for free, no questions asked. Same result for less money. That's smart. There's more than one option when it comes to gutter guards. Compare today and save at springrockgutters.com or call 708-571-0632. Special financing is available. Drain your gutters, not your wallet.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy left media going for the jugular at Wheaton College in the wake of these allegations against 5 football players about criminal assault of a fellow player. But there's another version of the story that's emerging. We've been discussing. Ed and LaGrange, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Okay, thanks for taking the call. Amy, you referred to the police report says, as if the policemen were there taking notes when the event occurred. The police report is only what the victim told the police.
Yeah, right.
Nothing more than that.
Right, but the police but on March 19th, 2016 at 11:20 p.m., the Wheaton police did go to the hospital to interview the victim. And apparently there wasn't enough there back then to press charges, but now all of a sudden there's enough to press charges.
Well, again, and Dan makes a good point, you interrupt, that's the point. It's just a police report. It's just what the victim said. It doesn't mean it happened because it's in a police report. And so I think Dan's got the good point. You got to look this whole thing over. If it's taken this long for charges to come, then there's problems with this case. The police probably didn't believe the kid.
But there should be physical evidence too, don't you think? I mean, if they go to the hospital and if he claims he has 2 torn shoulders, wouldn't they have known that? Or did that take an MRI or more? You know, there's something that smells about this story.
Well, you can see somebody injured and not know the cause of the injury, the proximate cause of it. The timeline of this is very hazy to me. Mm-hmm. What the police knew and when they knew it and what evidence was gathered and when it was gathered, as well as the administration's investigation and what they unearthed. So since so much of this is under lock and key, both from the police as well as from the college, you're trying to bootstrap a timeline and pieces of evidence that may or may not exist. So that's the whole point. That's why you question the time between the alleged incident and now the criminal charges that have been advanced against these football players. You ask questions rather than just taking the victim's version of events, the alleged victim's version of events, and then it's memorialized in left-wing media outlets, and then we just report that as truth, and we say, the administration fell down on the job, they should have gotten rid of these guys, and the coach should be fired and everything else. The hysteria that ensued, again, in Duke, at Duke with the Duke lacrosse team. Now, the flip side of that is there are cases where there was, willful cover-up of disgusting criminal activity, Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not taking a side. I'm just reporting that there are people that are telling a very different story that seem to have specific knowledge of the college and some of the individuals involved at least, and potentially witnesses to the event, the incident, and what is slapped together by some stringer at the Tribune in 400 words that with the disposition to take the accuser's word as gospel without
Yeah.
without any review. This is how you have Rolling Stone do a whole piece that they ultimately have to pay out millions of dollars in legal settlement for somebody they falsely accused of rape.
And it became news yesterday because the Wheaton police chief asked these 5 football players to turn themselves in. And now they're being held, the 2 that have are being held on a $50,000 bond. But when they go to court October 23rd, maybe we'll hear their side of the story, but I doubt it. There'll probably be some continuances, and then later on we'll learn their side of the story.
Well, ultimately, if the version of events that I read for this post that I got, if that's true, then I know it's going to be expensive and it's going to be uncomfortable, but if I was a parent of one of those kids, if I was one of those kids, take it to the mat, just like Duke Lacrosse did.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to take it to the mat. Don't, plead out because it's the path of least resistance or because you're afraid or because you're worried about legal fees or whatever. Your life's on the line, essentially, with allegations like this. And they have to take it to the mat, and they have to make sure that if there is another side of the story that is verifiable, that story is true, that the truth comes out. That's what our justice system is supposed to produce, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
All right, thanks so much for making us part of your morning. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical director, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching.